And we are live.
That's right, everybody. Thank you so much, Mav, for giving us the countdown and the live announcement. Welcome to a late show. That's right, PM in the PM. We went early last week, so this week we thought we'd go late. No, it just wound up being that way. Obviously, we both had a lot of stuff going on. I thought I was the one. Obviously, I was the one who called it and said I'm going to have to start late, but I wound up working out for Mav too because he had some stuff to get done. So we are both here finally. We both just kind of rolled in here in the past 5-10 minutes, but we are ready to rock and roll. Welcome to Thursday night, another episode of PM in the PM Pong and Mav in the PM. That's right. You know where you are or where you're about to be if you're just hopping in here now. Great to see so many people already jumping into our chat. Another kind of slower week of game news. We had one of those last week. Got another one this week. We got a couple things to talk about. Phil doing some interviews again, which always gets interesting. And we've got some smaller game topics, and we're going to talk some gaming too, obviously, which we love to do here because Mav and I are both loving the hell out of Dragon's Dogma 2. So we are definitely going to talk about that. As you can see with the thumbnail, thank you to the one and only beautiful Miss Caitlin, by the way, for all that she does. She got the thumbnail ready, and obviously we titled it Capcom Steals Game of the Year early. Yeah, I think
maybe for us.
Yeah, for us, I think that might be it. But we're going to have that talk. So buckle up, get seated in, get comfortable, grab your drinks, grab your food, get those games on if you're listening to us in the background. But let me get to my co-host, my brother from another, the CEO of the Fun Speculation Network, the one and only Fun Speculation, aka Mav. What's going on, brother? How you been, man?
Oh, man, it's been hectic and crazy. I'm in the construction and roofing business. We had another storm, so it's springtime,
which is good news.
Yeah, for us.
Yeah, you're kind of like Jason Schreier.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
we profit off the misery of others, right? You know. That's a good way to put it. You know, but yeah, it's so springtime gets crazy busy, and it's been kind of like my volume is low. Is it my volume is low, or is it both of our volume is low?
Who's low? Who's low?
Am I low? Chat. Kate said wait.
Whoa, here we go.
Oh, so it's her.
Kate's got her earphones in. Yeah.
It was me. Okay. Yeah. Great job, producer. Thank you. Thank you, babe. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
She was probably typing and couldn't hear us.
Yeah. Clack, 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 clack. Like on that episode of Xbox Ultimate. That was so loud, man.
It was amazing.
Anyway, yeah, like, so I've been busy. It interfered with my gaming quite a bit, actually, because like I've been trying to play, but so I have the game up and then I have to like keep stopping and doing different things like constantly, so it's kind of messed me up a little bit. So I actually because of that, I had actually restarted my Dragon's Dogma playthrough the other day.
Oh, you know, I want to mention this real quick.
Yeah.
Had I had time this week, I was actually going to clip it. I think during our last show, Mav,
where you explained this whole thing during the show,
where I said because no, it wasn't about me. It was you that said, I'm not going to download the character creation. I'm not about the demos. I already know I want to play this game. And I said, but Mav, it takes like an hour or two to create a character. Oh, I know. It'll be fine. I'm going to take my time. Don't worry. And then what did your DM say?
Well, first I was like, hey, is there not any kind of way to make a new character and start over? And you were like, are you fucking serious? Like, are you serious right now, bro? Like, I was like, yeah, you know, then Steele was nice. And he was like, why you want to start over? And I explained it. It's like, well, you know, first several hours of the game was like so disjointed because I kept having to stop and do different things, and like I wasn't really able to focus. I just didn't really feel like I missed a lot. Like I didn't really know what had happened or what was going on. I had rushed through the character creation, my character was ugly as shit. I just wasn't happy with that also. And I'm like, you know what? I just gotta. I want a clean start because this game is too amazing to just like kind of like have this, you know. So I did it. I did the steps. There's like it wasn't that hard. There's a couple steps to take to make a new character, and I did it. And then I'm so glad I did because I really enjoyed that. But yeah, you're right. You give me a hard time about it before, you know about that in the DMs
Capcom
and stuff. So.
Capcom knew. They gave everybody who likes to create beautiful characters a chance up front, Mav, to not wind up with the problem you did.
Yeah,
just saying.
I rushed it. Okay, I rushed it.
Right.
I only had a certain amount of time that night to play, and I just was like, I didn't want to spend a lot of time with the character creator.
Correct. Hence why they dropped that character creator a week in advance.
I just didn't know it was going to play out like that. You know,
life
more faith
doesn't
in
play
myself.
out like we planned. Life doesn't.
But anyway, yeah. So I did that, but ultimately though, I've been having fun playing that. I've been hopping into Balatro still.
Nice.
Kind of I haven't had as much time, so I kind of took a step away from Unicorn Overlord for now. But yeah, it's pretty much been the only two things I've been playing the last week. Yeah. Just that and Balatro. And it's working, man. It's working.
Hey, we got to do that too, brother. Work. It's month end again, so as always, month end is extremely busy. That's why I need a late start tonight.
Both quit our jobs, Pong.
Bro, I'm telling you again, anybody out there, listen, y'all. Like, we love y'all. If you are a millionaire, right? Again, myself, Mav, and Steel, we will run a 3-man network, and we will provide 8 hours of content per day, 5 days a week, if you just pay us all salary. Yeah. So that we can quit our job and support our families.
Maybe
we're good.
Maybe we could. What's the douchebag that failed back with the relaunch of G4 TV? What's his name?
Oh God. I've wiped him from my memory because I hate him.
Oh, Adam Sessler.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe we should reach out to him and see if he wants to make another investment.
No.
We'll just do
I don't think I quit my job to go work for him. Put it that way.
Yeah, I think you're right. That'd be bad.
That would be very bad.
Yeah, be bad.
Never, ever. But yeah. No, so work has been extremely busy for me as well, as always. So plus we had our snowstorms, our last hurrah of winter officially, I think this time. I thought that happened like a month ago when we started getting in the 40s and 50s, which is very rare for Minnesota. At the end of February into the beginning of March. So I thought we were having early spring, and for the most part we have. And this year we've had the least amount of snow that we've had in like a decade. Like, it's been crazy easy winter for us up here. But no, Mother Nature said, F you. You're going to get a regular dose of March Minnesota weather, and just absolutely dropped so much snow in the past 5 days. It's been insane up here, especially in my area up to the north a little bit. Man, it's been crazy. Driving has been shit. So yeah, no, that's been my week. It's just been like, let's just get through this one last cold blast with snow and we'll be fine. But gaming wise, it has just been Dragon's Dogma. I can't checking right now. All right, total play time on Dragon's Dogma on Steam. I'm at 50 hours. 50 hours already on Dragon's Dogma. Ooh, so yeah, that's all I've been. Lot, man. Yeah. Now, again, my photo mode addiction does skew my playtime numbers, just so you guys all know. I should be relatively close to Steel. I'm not. Because of the simple fact is I spend way too much time in photo mode. I love photo mode. Capcom, I appreciate the fact that in 2024, you did put a photo mode in here. However, for as great as this game is, you should have spent maybe a little bit more time on your photo mode. So for all the amazing pictures, and I've been posting a ton of screenshots, as you guys know, That was my goal in 2024. When I'm playing a game and I'm loving the hell out of it, I'm going to fight against the negativity out here by posting positive shit, showing off the game. So I've been posting a lot of pictures of Dragon's Dogma 2, much like I did with Starfield. But my God, Capcom, the amount of amazing shots that I have not been able to take simply because you could not include a limit, even give me a limited free roam camera system. That's all. Detach the camera from my character, please. I don't care if you limit me to like a bubble. That's fine. I don't need forever. But my God, the amount of shots that I could have had in this game with just a little bit more effort in the photo mode. But the fact that you put one in here is a bonus, and it is appreciated for sure. And I'm showing off your game a lot, as well as a lot of other people are too. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 has been everything. It's that game. You guys know how much I love Western RPGs. You all should by now. This is why I game. These are the types of games why I'm here, why I have so much passion for this industry. I certainly have my passion for plenty of other genres, as you all know as well. But when it comes to Western RPGs, when it comes to this stuff, and again, this is high fantasy 1A versus sci-fi 1B, this is my bag. And I can't get enough of this game. I go to bed thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. I'm at work thinking about it, thinking about what I got to do. And then I get into the game, and every battle, I am taking photos. Every single time I crest a new mountain and I look over a brand new valley for the first time, I'm taking a photo, and I'm sitting there and just soaking it all in the same way I did with Starfield, the same way I do with all these types of big open world games. But we're going to talk about it, so I won't get too in depth in it. But this game is special. Is it perfect? No, of course it's not perfect. No game is perfect. There's plenty of stuff that could have been done differently here. But this is everything I wanted and more after a 12-year wait, as I've said previously. So, and that's continued. I haven't thought about playing another game. I haven't switched on my Xbox. Every night I've come home, popped on the PC, popped on my TV, got it all set up, sat down on the couch, and it's been Dragon's Dogma 2. The only time I stop is to make a post or set up a post of pictures from the game. So, yeah, we'll get into it a little bit later when we talk about the Game of the Year stuff. But that's all I've been doing this week gaming. But it's I couldn't ask for anything better right now. Could not ask for anything better. This is amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
It's a rare game, man.
It is.
You know, a game like this doesn't come around every once in a while.
No. And they're talking about DLC now. Supposedly they're putting out feelers about DLC. So everything we didn't get from the first one, plus all the patches and fixes that they've already got planned and that they're going to do. Modders are already taking over this game and doing so much for the game itself. This will be another Bethesda-like title that, again, the first Dragon's Dogma was like that, and there was nowhere near the amount of hype behind it like this one until it kind of caught fire, but it was a slow burn. This is an absolute wildfire. All the nonsense about the DLC, all the negativity out there, and I've seen some veteran Dragon's Dogma players have some groups in Reddit and different places that are slamming this game. They don't like this game. You're going to get that nowadays, no matter what you do. Bethesda's going through that. Went through that with Starfield. There's plenty of people who have, valid criticisms. Again, this isn't a perfect game, but this game is on fire right now. Steam concurrent players have been, always above 150 each and every single day, over 200,000 on the weekends. People are still playing and loving the hell out of this game, and I think it's going to be one of those games as it grows a little bit older, as this year goes on, as sales pop up, more and more people are going to hop into it, but this game is going to live on. I have a feeling they're going to do some big DLC for this stuff. And then I'm guaranteed now, I think that we're going to get a Dragon's Dogma 3, and I don't think we're going to have to wait 12 years for the next one. I think Capcom now, in the position that they're in, they're going to have this team, once they get through the DLC, the patches, and all that kind of stuff, working on Dragon's Dogma 3. So, but yeah, really, really special game in a special, special year for games, which is an incredible. But we will talk about that. We will talk about that. let's get to this beautiful, beautiful chat. I know we had a couple of member chats in here. Tell me if I missed anything else, Matt, but I'm going to grab. I see Bionic Wolf, member for 10 months of the speculators. Let's go, Bionic Wolf. Thank you for jumping in here. Says, I need that Xbox handheld. We are going to talk some handheld. We're going to talk some hybrid. Phil and Xbox reviving the Steam machine. Do we have a Frankenstein from Phil and Xbox team coming? I think so. I can't wait to get Mav's thoughts, but we got some smoke on that. But we'll talk about the handheld stuff too a little bit as well. And then Traybone 408, member for 4 months. Thank you so much for being here, Traybone. Says, blame ourselves for kids playing games on pads and phones. Nah, I don't blame us. I just blame tech. I just blame the way that things change, just how not everything can be the way it always was. And I'm grateful for that in a lot of instances. Sometimes I don't like it, right? I'm a nostalgia guy, but that's just the way things were going to move forward. As things got smaller, as tech got better, as we got iPads and tablets, and as we got our phones up to smartphones, it was only a matter of time before gaming started going there. Handheld gaming has been around for a very, very long time. A very long time. If you want to go all the way back to the little football, baseball games that we got back in the day, Mav. You remember those?
Tiger. Yeah.
Tiger. Yes, Tiger. Man. Yes, man. I still got some of those, in fact. So we've had handheld gaming. So again, this is just natural evolution of what we've seen. But kids just didn't have a care for the console. My kid grew up, let me real quickly on this Traybone. My kid grew up in a console household, obviously, right? My kid is now, he's going to be 24 this year. He grew up in a console handheld or a console household. He grew up on the 360, one of the greatest console generations of all time. He grew up on the 360. I was a heavy 360 player back then. He grew up on Call of Duty. He grew up on RTSs. He grew up on a lot of different games that even some kids nowadays never get a chance to play. And even he, right? Even he's still a console player. He owns a PS5 right now. But even he has drifted into the phone and tablet space. Even he started playing mobile games, right? It's just natural, man. It's just natural, especially when your peer group is doing something that even if it's not your favorite thing to do, you're naturally, as a kid, going to kind of lean that way and do it. And that's what happened, man. Now, again, as we move forward, as tech gets come less and less, or I should say, as tech becomes more and more, as the need for boxes become less and less, yeah, man. Eventually, again, like I said, I'm not out of the realm of possibility that we're all wearing headsets one day as a normal thing every day, walking around in AR, and we can just pop on a game anytime we want to. I'm not beyond that, or contact lenses that do that, right? I think that's certainly a possibility. But yeah, I hear you, Trayvon. I do, man. Let's see here. Anybody else in here? All right, let's get to the shout out of the chat. Tiger was trash. Traybone, take that back, sir. I don't know how old you are, sir, but those were like the greatest gifts ever back in the day, man. Oh my god,
car trips, dude. That like before we would go to my like grandparents' house. It's always like a 3-hour drive or something like that. Like I had to have one of those with me. I played baseball or whatever.
Football. I had Double Dragon. I still got my Double Dragon.
Yeah, it was and those were lifesavers, dude.
They were. And I've still got my Zelda Game Watch one, by the way, which is ultra rare. The Game Watches are ultra rare. If you have a Game Watch hidden anywhere, go put that into a safe spot, because the retro people are going hot for those. Yeah, I will be selling mine at some point. But yeah, man, all those things, like you said, Mav, were lifesavers on car trips, man. It was necessary. It really was.
The sound effects too were like simple, but like it's addicting to listen to.
Heck yeah, man. And I gotta say, even as more of a football fan, baseball was like the greatest sport game you could have on those. Yeah, basketball was okay, but baseball was like the best represented, because you could literally, even on that simplistic of tech, you could pretty much duplicate a lot of baseball in that. Whereas
Yeah,
football
it's
is a
all
lot
about
harder, like
timing
running,
and stuff.
blocking,
Yeah.
and it's all about timing and all that kind of stuff. Whereas football's got blocking and defense, and you really can't replicate that back then. But baseball, you could, and it felt good, man. When you hit those home runs, it was like, dit, 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 and then it was like, and you were like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little
man.
Mav in the backseat saying, "Fuck yeah!" Oh,
Yeah, no,
I didn't say that. Like,
No.
yay!
Yay!
Home
Home
run!
run! Why do you sound like 3-bit? Oh shit. Good times, man. Good memories. Anyways, listen up. We're gonna shout out the chat right now, then we're gonna get into these topics. So Trey, of course, is in here, and he says baseball was the best. Yes, sir. I do agree. Thatch, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. Sin, what's going on? Sin says, I love bases loaded for NES. Yeah, again, even as a non-baseball fan, my buddy was a huge baseball fan, so we were all baseball stars and bases loaded.
Yeah.
Baseball stars, Neo, Geo, SNK, freaking absolutely way ahead of its time. RPG kind of mechanics in it.
Yeah.
Like, it was we had so much fun with that. There was also the robot one. Do you remember that one, Mav?
Yeah.
Where all the players were robots. What was the name of that one? That one was dope too.
I don't remember. But they had like tracks, like ones with like tracks.
Yes. You build your players.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was so damn cool.
My favorite baseball game back in the day. It was called Bottom of the Ninth.
Oh yes.
And it didn't have
remember that.
It didn't have real teams.
No.
Right.
No.
But it was like based on real teams, and like some of the players were like based on real play. I think King Griffey may have been on the cover of it, even though I'm not sure. But what I loved about it is like this, you could hit so easy in that game. Like the scores would literally be like 95 to like 47 and shit like that. It'd just be absolutely ridiculous, but it was such a blast to play, dude.
I just looked it up. Base Wars was the name of the robot one.
Base Wars, yes.
Base Wars, yes. Oh my god, I'm looking at a screenshot. Oh, it looks so fucking cool.
What was the hockey game with the blades? Like
Blades of Steel?
Was it Blades of Steel? It had the
Blades of Steel, and you had the fighting
thing.
No,
it looked like a fucking saw blade.
It wasn't Mutant League Hockey, was it?
Maybe, I don't remember.
Because they had Mutant League Football, they had Mutant League Hockey.
Cutting something.
Okay, I don't remember that one at all. I can't pull that one out. But yeah, freaking Base Wars, freaking so awesome, bro. All right. Anyways, Blades of Steel, Blades of Steel was so freaking annoying, bro. Oh my god, the fighting. My buddies loved the fighting. I hated the fighting. Anyways, you look it up, man. See if you can find it. Super Baseball 2020 was great too. Zay429, thank you for joining us. Masshole 1977, thank you for joining us. Jordan versus Bird, yes, classic, man. Basketball right there. Acute perspective. What is going on? A lot of Blades of Steel fans in here. Yeah, man. That was the hockey game, and the basketball game for NES, of course, was Double Dribble. Double Dribble was freaking Double Dribble. So freaking amazing.
Double Dribble was great, dude.
Bro.
Oh my god.
It was so cool, dude. Oh my god, it was so crazy. Oh my god, the 3-point hot spot.
With the cover the characters with those like short shorts and stuff. Like
those freaking slideshow cut scenes when you're dunking.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro.
Like for sim basketball early on, my favorite like sim basketball when it started to get better was NBA Shootout back on the PlayStation.
Yeah, NBA Shootout was really
989 Sports, like back in the day, was like so good. You had NFL Game Day, you had NBA Shootout, you know. And those were fantastic games. I think
competition, bro. Competition.
There's so many different options, bro. Then you had all the Midway sports games.
Yep. You had
so much better when you had one fucking choice per sport.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Nope, agree wholeheartedly. Hopefully we're gonna at least we got college football coming back. Hopefully that kind of creates that inner competition that we talked about with the Madden team like they had back in the day to push each other to be better. So hopefully that's a good sign. We're supposed to be getting a 2K kind of arcade-ish style football game. Hopefully they can make that work. I mean, I have a lot of faith in 2K, but it's gonna be monetized to hell probably. But still, if they can bring the fun, if they can bring NFL Blitz or NFL Street style back, I'm all for it. That'll be dope as hell. But we definitely need some more sports games to kind of even the playing field. Let's see what else. Where was I here? All right, let's just start at the bottom here. Knob Omar's in the house. What's going on now? We got the Jago 6 in here. What's going on, Jago? We got the Gen X Gamer 79. Says Pat Riley basketball was the games too. Ooh, God, I'm sure I played it, but man, I don't remember Pat Riley basketball that much. It's Timmy. Is it here? What's going on? It's Timmy. Always great to see you. We got the ADM in the house. What's going on, ADM? We got the Delroy in here. What's going on, Delroy? Always great to see you, brother. Thank you for dropping in here. We got Mr. Waffles in the house. What's going on, Mr. Waffles? I don't know why you hate pancakes, but Mr. Waffles, still appreciate you jumping in here. We got General Spartan 27 in the house. What's going on, General Spartan? We got the one and only Tom from Toonami. Says backyard baseball is king. Backyard baseball is fun as hell too. Let's see who else. We got the Poison Maniac in here. What's going on, Poison? We got the brother from another Psychonauts on the front lines at GameStop, holding the fort down. What's going on, brother? Psychonauts. He just picked up Dragon's Dogma 2 today, along with South Park, the new one. I told him to go ahead and just return South Park because he's not going to be playing anything but Dragon's Dogma 2. But shout out to Psychonauts. Can't wait to hear what he thinks about Dragon's Dogma 2 when he gets into it. God Emperor, Self King's in the house. What's going on, God Emperor? We got the Amit Kumar. What's going on, Amit? Great to see you. We got Wilfrey Rosario in the house. What's going on? We got the Lad here. What's going on, Lad? Says, hey, what's up? Speaking of sales, I think the Xbox Spring Sale has started rolling out. I'm sure it has. It's about that time of the year. Spent a lot more money on PC this year than ever before. That's all I got to say. Man, the sales over on PC are freaking amazing. Siki, what's going on, brother? Great to see you in here. Who else? We got the Def Leopard in the house. Sup to you, Def. Great to see you. We got the Antonio Newman in the house. What's going on, Antonio? We got the Bionic Wolf. What's going on, Bionic? Who else we got in here? Let's keep going. I think I shouted out Sin, but I will always shout out Sin. You get 2 times Sin if I did already. Great to see you. Oh, one of my favorite cereals is in the house. Captain Crunch. Always a pleasure. Thank you for dropping in here. Love seeing the name. In here, we got the beautiful Miss Caitlin in the house. Thank you, Miss Caitlin, again for all that you do behind the scenes and keeping Mav on the straight and narrow. Thank you, Miss Caitlin. We got the Brett Bingham in the house. What's going on, Brett Bingham? We got Game Shark in here. What's going on, Game Shark? Oh, Game Shark liked my impression of you, Mav. Said I sounded just like you. Oh. I must be doing it. I must be learning just by being around you all the damn time and hearing your voice. What's going on, Void Rat? What's going on? Great to see you in here. Thank you for being a part of our show today. We got the Drake Williams in the house. What's going on, Drake? We got Chrissia Gilbo in the house. What's going on, Chrissia? And again, I always apologize in case I am mispronouncing your name. We got the Scorpio in here. What's going on, Scorpio? Great to have you a part of our show. We got the Andrew Cullinane in the house. What's going on, Andrew? We got the Dr. Dinglenut in the house. What's going on, Doctor? Great to have you a part of the show as always. We got Alvin in the house. What's going on, Alvin? We got the Niturnal here. What's going on, Niturnal? We got Free Bear. We got Boz Hayes in the house. What's going on, Boz? Like that name, by the way. We got the one and only 3-Bit in the house. What's going on, 3-Bit? 3-Bit had his mind blowing this week. Just absolutely mind blowing. He never thought that Gearbox would ever be sold to 2K for $460 million. It was like the most shocking news he's heard since the Activision Blizzard deal was announced.
What?
What? He was in our DMs. And I was like, this is surprising to you, 3-Bit? You haven't listened to any of our shows, have you, 3-Bit? Anyways, FarQ, what's going on, FarQ? Great to see you. We got Mitchy Dies a lot, of course, in here. Great to see you as well, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Mitchy Dies a lot is watching UConn versus SDSU. Oh, that's right. It is March Madness, isn't it? The old days. BT Maverick 707, what's going on? Why So Serious is here. What's going on? Why So Serious? Great to see you. Jigga J is in here. What's going on, brother? Always great to see your name popping up in the chat. Thank you all, one and all. Let me see if I missed anybody down below. We got Joby in the house. What's going on, Joby? Great to see you in here. Let's see. What else? Oh, Joby's jumping in here with Sony Saving Gaming. Okay, Joby. Well, welcome, Joby. We welcome all opinions as long as you don't get toxic in here, and as long as you don't spam the chat with a bunch of nonsense. You are cool to be here and listen to us. Again, this show specifically is not necessarily console centric in any which way. We talk about all things. We criticize and praise all things here. So welcome aboard, even if we might have different opinions. Who else is in here? Let's see if I missed anybody else. Buzz, what's going on, Buzz? Great to see you. Let's see here. Anybody else? Nope, nobody else is in here. I think I'm all caught up. So Matt, Siki for 2 months. Siki, appreciate you, brother, dropping in here. Says you guys saw new No Man's Sky patch custom ships. Yes, sir. What is it called? Orbital, I believe, is the latest DLC. Sean Murray just can't stop working on that game. Like, I saw somebody post and it was absolutely hilarious. Sean retweeted him with a laughing emoji, laughing crying emoji, because it's true. But somebody posted a meme saying, Sean, we forgave you a long time ago. You can stop making DLC for this game now. Like, because from where No Man's Sky launched, and again, I was a day one pre-ordered No Man's Sky PS4 dude. Okay, I was there at the beginning. From where that game was and what they had promised and under-delivered to where it is now is beyond amazing. Like, again, just special that they have taken the time to do this, and every DLC has been free. I don't know where their funding is coming from. I don't know necessarily where they make their monies. The game is still on Game Pass. Like, bro. But shout out to Sean Murray and the team. Again, appreciate what they're doing. That's why I'm looking forward to their new fantasy open world game that they are coming out, that they announced. What was the name of that one again, man? There's so many games in my head right now.
Oh God, the one with like it's the whole Earth.
Yeah, it's the whole Earth.
Is it like whole Earth?
It's not whole.
I don't know. I don't remember.
It's not whole Earth. It is not a whole Earth. Let's see here. Come on. Yeah, Hello Games is absolutely freaking incredible. And I hope they keep making games. New game. Light No Fire. That one, I am highly anticipating that game. Again, you put me in a fantasy world with this giant open entire globe to go explore. Plus, it's gonna be MMO basically, right? Multiplayer. So you're gonna be able to have us hop in there together and go explore this world. Man, I can't wait. Hello Games definitely learned their lessons, and what they've done with No Man's Sky is extra special. So shout out to No Man's
Sky. I know
Sky.
You said that about Joby, but I just fucking saying I can't stand this guy, so I'm just banning him already. You're trying to be so cool, but he's
not my channel, Joby.
Hey,
bye, Joby.
Peace
not
out,
my channel.
motherfucker. You're out, bro. I'm sorry. You're just like off the rails in the chat, man.
It looks like he was spamming. I told him not to spam.
He's trolling, man. You know, it's like you wanted to talk random weird shit. That's cool, but like, not too much of it. Okay.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Bye,
again,
bitch. I'm just kidding.
I may be the host, but Mav owns this channel. He can do what he wants. All right. He's still CEO. All right, Mav. Let's see here. What shall we get into first? I mean, we already started talking about it. Let's talk about it, and then we'll get into some other stuff. We'll get into the Phil interviews and the hybrid and stuff. But let's just talk about Dragon's Dogma 2, since we brought it up both. That we've been playing a lot this week, obviously, and a lot of people are playing Dragon's Dogma 2. And I said it last week that even after only a couple days with the game, I was saying, and again, you can call me crazy, you can call me capping, you can just say that I just whatever, that there's no way I can have this opinion. Some people believe you have to finish a game to have any opinion about Game of the Year. But for me, again, it's never about that. It's about the experience. And just from what I was experiencing the first couple days, I said this is a runaway Game of the Year right now. There's other games that could potentially certainly come along this year. We've got a lot coming up. You know, Star Wars Outlaws, Avowed, Hellblade 2, Black Myth Wukong. We got a lot of games coming out this year that certainly could take that award, or at least be in the conversation with Dragon's Dogma 2. We've already had a bunch of freaking absolutely fabulous games come out. Helldivers 2, Pal World, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Unicorn Overlord. Like, we've already had a plethora of games that I have played that I was like, these are great games and should be in the conversation for Game of the Year.
Foam Stars?
This year, no. No,
Oh,
I think Sony's already forgotten about Foam Stars. I it's that's we called it early.
I thought.
We called it.
Okay, sorry. I thought it
Yeah,
was one of our candidates.
yeah. No, no, it's not one. But
Um, yeah, those
this
have.
year's been crazy, right? But I think for me, and I think for you, Mav, that playing Dragon's Dogma 2 and the amount of effort that this
Yeah,
team obviously put into um this game, and what they decided, how they decided to go about building off of the first game into this game. This game to me is like a nonstop adventure movie, is the best way I can put it. The moment to moment stuff, and Steel has put out a couple clips about the immersion
yeah,
within the game and the mechanics that are involved in this game. This is again a different game from, Bethesda. Not a Dark Souls game like a From Software. It's not like an Elden Ring. It's not like a Skyrim. It's something else. And we talked about this even before it launched, how unique Dragon's Dogma 1 was. They've kept that uniqueness and just added to it, where this is a game where anything can happen, the randomness of the world, right? The adventures that you wind up on out of the blue that you didn't have any idea you were going to wind up on, the NPCs that you meet, right? The new things that you discover, and people are discovering stuff daily, and posting about it on X. There's new things being talked about daily that they don't even explain to you in the game, that you gotta just have to experiment and find out for yourself. This game is one of those games that doesn't come along very often. And this is one of those games, like I said in the beginning, that I believe is going to be talked about for the next decade, that is going to be played and replayed and gone back to, much like we see with Bethesda titles, much like we see people doing with Elden Ring. This is going to be a game that you see somebody post 5 years from now, fourth playthrough of Dragon's Dogma 2. Why not? Let's go. New character.
yeah.
Right? This is going to be one of those games that just sticks around for a very long time. So I think it's an easy game of the year. Walk away contender. I just think it's done. I think it's over with. If you just ended it today, it's easy. It's over with. Without seeing what these other games coming out this year, I still think this is probably going to be your game of the year. Again, there are some games in here that could blow us away, that could absolutely grab that title. But I'm just saying right now, the mix in this game, and it's not a perfect game, but what experience this game is giving people qualifies it as that game of the year for 2024 already. What are your thoughts here, Mav, on this?
I think right now, I mean, it seems like it's the most ambitious game that's come out this year for sure. It is pushing the genre that it's in more forward than any other game that's come out this year. I mean, it has like some frame rate stuff, the optimization that it could use,
yeah,
like, but
absolutely,
but it's not like crazy bad either. You know what I mean in that regard. For as big and ambitious of scope that game is, like that's the kind of game you look at and be like, kind of makes sense. That that would be like that because they didn't really skimp on what they're trying to accomplish there. It has some of the most satisfying emergent gameplay that I've ever experienced in a game, and that includes like games like Bethesda games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those games where you start the game and you get lost in it, and you really get just completely immersed into your character and the world that you're in, and
Mm-hmm.
you have this feeling that anything can fucking happen, right? You start your journey, and it's like, oh, for example, I was playing and I had to go to these like three areas to do this three, like take out these three
The monsters.
yeah, with the monsters, yeah.
Yep. Monster Purge.
And I'm on my way, the first one, okay, run across into a hard battle. I get knocked out and stuff, and reload the save. You lose some of your health, your permanent health there,
Yep.
right? So then you
Yep.
gotta keep going. Like, okay, I'm gonna eventually make it there. and sometimes you come across some of these randomly harder battles, and that'll happen again, and then you're like, okay, fuck. Um, I'm in this situation now
Mhm.
because I have like half or less than my total health. I have a long
Oh,
way to go to
and
get
night's
to
approaching. And night's approaching.
to get to where I need to go.
Yeah.
And it's like there's not a campsite that I see anywhere near me, and I don't know where one even is. You know,
Right?
so uh, do I go back to town and go sleep at an inn?
Mhm.
Do I try
Mhm.
and go for the fucking mission? Do I look for a campsite? And okay, let me look at this map and see if I can figure out the best course of action here for myself. You look at it and it's
Mhm.
like, fuck, I don't know because I haven't unlocked a lot of the map yet. I don't know what's there, and it like so you click on one that you think is closest, right? Okay, I'm
Mm.
gonna go there.
Yep.
I feel like it's my best option. Well, that's cool. You know, you start going that way, and then you run into another crazy thing you've never come across before, and it's like, fuck, that didn't work out. Let me go try one of the other ways, and so then you finally like, okay, you're in this like point of no return. You got like a quarter of your max health left, and you know if you get into another bad battle, it's just gonna keep going like this, and you're gonna keep having to try again, and like it's your pawns are starting to die, and all this kind of stuff. You have to keep trying to resurrect them, and it's like then you see a glimmer of hope because you see this campfire. It
Little tendrils of smoke
yeah
above the trees.
yeah,
Yep.
and
Or
you're
the
like, okay,
glow.
oh man, I gotta
Yep.
get there. Do you get
And then you gotta
there?
clear out monsters.
Right. And then you say, you do the camp thing, you're like, oh, I can
Yeah.
breathe. I can
Yep.
breathe. And then do your
Mhm.
mission. You think you finished the mission. You're like, oh, well, I finished this mission, but like this area has so much more to explore. Like, what else is in here? So you do that. Oh, fuck, I shouldn't have done that because now I'm getting my ass kicked by these other things. So let me go back. Oh, there's another mission outside now that wasn't there before because it's just like
Mhm.
it's one of those things where you are a part of the world, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's hard for games to feel that way, but not to mention the fact that the gameplay is so fluid. Each one of the characters is so fluid. The pawn system is amazing and so unique, and there's so much personality with the pawns. That's one of my favorite parts. Just the random like shit that they say sometimes is like
Yeah.
the personalities are so different depending on who you have, and they're like sometimes one is annoying me. I'm like, hey, later, I'll swap to
Mhm.
another one, or then you grow attached to one,
Yep.
and it's like you see this other person randomly passing by, and they just kind of stop and talk to you, and like, oh fuck, they kind of look badass, but I don't, I really like these guys. They're like, who do I kick out? Sorry, bro, I gotta try this new pawn that just randomly stopped and talked to me. Um, it's so different, dude.
It
You
is.
know, it that it's this kind of game that makes you really appreciate like the creativity in the industry and like the shit that people just come up with to put in these games. And there's some craziness in this game. Just
Oh,
absolute craziness,
yeah.
like you've never seen in a game before, and it's so unique. And but all of those things, even the things that people talk about are like, oh, this kind of sucks because this can ruin your playthrough, or this kind of hurt. Like it adds to the character of
The Dragon's Plague.
right. It adds to the character of the game itself, making
Yes.
it more like of a special, unique thing. It's something you have to think about when you're playing. So I super appreciate it. I love games like this. It's beautiful. Uh,
On
gameplay is
PC, and
amazing.
again, on PC, it's different world,
Yeah.
but there's moments where it's jaw-dropping
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah, you're
There
like,
is some.
wow, like this
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
it's a kind of game you like dreamt of playing when you were a kid,
Yeah. Yes.
and like maybe one day gaming will be like that, you know, and
I didn't even imagine it would ever be like this.
it could
But
have
I could
never
never.
fucking
I could have never.
yeah,
Like, I
you're right.
always
It's
thought about what
beyond
we're
your
gonna be
wildest
doing.
dreams, right?
It is. It is, right? Yeah, for sure.
Like the scale of the enemies,
Hail the world.
yeah, scale of the world, like randomly, like a fucking giant eagle thing, just attacking random
Griffin.
people. Yeah, Griffin, or you'll have dragons, or you'll have like giants or trolls, and you have your regular goblins and stuff like that. Like it's just
Mhm.
it's an amazing game, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing game. I love it.
And I love the Eastern take on the Western RPG. And again, I've said that forever about Dragon's Dogma 1. That's what made it so different, is that you have this Eastern team and they have this perspective, but they created this very Western RPG, this very European type setting, right? Of high fantasy, but they have their own unique twists on it. And that comes from that Eastern side of things, that Eastern flavor, the attention to detail, Mav. And again, this is something I talked about with a couple people last night online after I posted some pictures. But Photoshop mode, because I spent so much time in it, you see a lot when you're playing the game, but when you go into photo mode and you actually start appreciating even more the artistry that goes into game. Now, not every game is like this, of course not, and not every style plays well all the time as far as it comes to actual taking screenshots or photo mode. But when you get a game like this and you see the work the dev team did on the armor, on the weapons, and we're talking about just the again, I got a shot that I put up last night of my main pawn, Varisi, as she's killing this. I think it was a harpy or a goblin, but I got her from the back, so she's got her sword raised, and I've got the camera super close to her fist, and you see the pommel on the sword, and you see how much detail they put into that pommel, and then her chainmail, and all of that kind of stuff. Like, it's insane, and you don't get all that if you're just playing through the game. But really, really, again, that's the Eastern stuff that Steele and I have talked about for a long time at Living Split Screen. There's just a different, not all the time. Again, this isn't across the board, obviously. Again, there's different art style. But some of these Eastern teams, the Korean teams and the Japanese teams, really do take extra effort in their character design, in their weapons, in their armor, all that kind of stuff. And you can see it. It shines through. Naraka was another one that just impressed the hell out of me and Steel. If you really looked at Naraka on the character designs and the clothing and the different fabrics, unbelievable. And of course, there are teams like that. Naughty Dog does this. And of course, Ninja Theory with Hellblade 2 is going up and beyond with what they actually created the armor and photo captured it, like with all the burn marks. Like, there's other Western devs that do this, but I'm just saying the Eastern style of dev work really does focus on that stuff, and it pays off in the game. So all of that is great. And like you said, Mav, the pawns and the AI, this is something that I think that I thought after the first one, and especially after the second time I played it through Dark Arisen, when I really played through it, I really thought that more teams would look at that and really try to duplicate that. But their system, their AI system for the pawns, while again, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, it is so far advanced from 99% of the games out there when it comes to companions.
I don't think other devs can do it. I don't think they know how. Like, it's insane. It makes you feel like you're playing co-op.
It does.
With your friends when you're not, like, because they have so much character and personality to them. They become people within themselves that are along for the ride. You know what I mean? It's crazy
how useful they are, man. How many times in games have we played throughout the decades where you're like, why do I even have this thing with me? It's like useless. Why am I dragging this other, like, this is pointless. It gets me in more trouble than it's worth. Right? Even Starfield for me. Most of the time in these types of games, if I have the choice to not have a companion, I will play solo because I play a specific way. But in Dragon's Dogma, they are so damn smart, and they actually listen to you when you issue them commands, and you can only issue them basic commands. But if I'm trying to snipe off a group of goblins, because your pawns will be aggressive as hell. If they get eyes on something, they're going. But you can tell them to hold. And if I want to snipe off a group of goblins from long range as an archer, they will hold. They will stay back with me until I tell them to go. Right? And release them. But then in battle, between healing me when I need to be healed, or if I'm down, them running over, making me a priority to pick me up in the heat of battle and making sure that I'm up and then getting back to what they're doing or casting the right spells at the right time. I can't tell you how many times, because again, I run with a Sork and a Mage, right?
Yeah.
That's my main. I learned in the first one, you got to have both, right? Because Mage does the healing plus can do damage spells, and the Sork is all damage, right?
Yeah.
I run both of those, but the amount of times where I have used a tarring arrow on a big enemy or even a small enemy, but a big enemy, especially like Cyclopses and stuff, I use a tarring arrow, and that Sork or Mage, especially, I always carry one that's got at least one flame spell, will unleash that flame spell almost. She will go right into casting it as soon as my tarring arrow hits, knowing full well that it will start them on fire. And they just do that constantly. Or if I'm getting chased by a bigger enemy, they will unleash hell trying to get that thing off of me. Like, it is just a different level. Like you said, Matt, it feels as close as you can pretty much get to a co-op game without having real players in the game with you. And they still, again, they are still a step above 95, 99% of the games out there. And again, like you said, Mav, I'm just kind of piggybacking off some of the stuff you said, but how you care about the characters in the game. For me, I play differently than you. I get attached to all my pawns because I'm very selective in my pawn. Okay. I learned from the first one. I go for high level pawns, at least 10 levels above me if I can afford it, so that they're with me for a very long time, because I don't want to be swapping out with new skills, and I don't want to be searching. I find very specific skills that I want. I do the whole advanced search. I look for the exact characters I'm looking for. I make sure that I like how they look and I like their voices and the attitude they come with, so that they don't get annoying, because I don't want to be swapping pawns.
Yeah.
I just don't. So I get attached to all of them. And even when I out level one of my pawns, right, I still sometimes will carry them, even if I'm 5 levels above them, just because of how much I enjoy them or how good they are at going and finding stuff, right? If they've done a great job for me, I had a couple pawns in this playthrough that I carried for 10 plus days in game, right? That I carried through 10 plus days. And that's a long ass time in this game.
Yeah.
If you think about it. But man, that's not every game either. Again, that's not every game. And the moment to moment stuff that you're talking about, Mav, is so incredible. And I love this. And I've always talked about this. There are RPGs, both open and more traditional JRPG style games, that will limit you to where you can go or based upon your level. I love RPGs that say, screw that. You go get yourself in trouble, and figure out how to get the fuck out of it, right? That's what happened. Like, it happened to me early on. I walked into a cave, opened up a chest. All of a sudden, I had a lich on me that I was way underpowered. Now, I almost beat him just because I kind of used a whole lot of strategy and a whole lot of potions and a whole lot of magic. I almost beat him, but I couldn't. And I tried 2 more times, and I couldn't even get close to what I'd done the first time, so I just left. I love that situation. If I get myself into a spot, I went up into the Misty Mountains in this game, Mav. I don't know if you've been up into the Misty Mountains yet. They are absolutely incredible, by the way, bro. Talk about a dev team that works on the environment and the atmosphere. The fog in the Misty Mountains is second to none in any game that I've been a part of in certain instances. Like coming down the valleys in the mountains and how it gets thicker, and then the sun kind of comes up and it kind of lightens up, and how it looks like it's almost moving and shifting. Absolutely incredible work. But man, I was in the Misty Mountains, and I was in a situation like you were talking about, where I had no idea. The map was almost completely blacked out. I had not been there at all. I had no campsites marked. I was trying to find campsites in the night. Now I'm traveling through the Misty Mountains. I've never traveled. I'm fighting high level dudes in here, trying to keep myself alive and my group alive. And I'm looking for a campsite, but there's freaking fog and blackness everywhere.
Yeah.
So I can't even, and I'm in the mountains. And so there's cliffs and there's valleys. So you can't get a clear view of things, plus trees and everything else in the way. And I was struggling, bro. I was like, I don't know if I'm making it out of here alive. I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue to save, because I'm in a tough spot. And then I just kept working my way slowly down. Again, not trying to rush because I knew I'd get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
Got to be careful. And just collecting plants where I could, making new potions, keeping myself and my team alive. And then finally I got to the bottom of the valley and it was still dark, but then through the trees, I just saw that little glimmer of fucking hope of a campfire, right? I just saw the little orange glow and I beelined it. And I still had to clear out enemies around that campfire so I didn't get attacked while I was sleeping, but I made it. But that sense of accomplishment, just simply getting to the campfire, second to none, man.
Yeah.
Second to none.
Like, that was like beating a big level in a regular game. Right. It's like just surviving sometimes, or like, I did it. Yes, I made it through, you know?
Right. And it was just a normal routine deal. Like, it's not like anything special. Like, I made it to a campsite. Great. But yes, that is not in every game that we play. You have your big moments. You have your moments where you can feel proud of beating a boss or getting through an especially difficult level or whatever the case may be, as we know as gamers. But just that simple task of finding a campsite turns into an adventure itself, a tense adventure. And that is cool. The randomness, again, coming across a dragon, right, for the first time, or even the second or third time. The dragons in this game, too, let me tell you, as a high fantasy fan, dragons are some of the toughest creatures to get right for me, in my opinion. I am very specific on the types of dragons I like. These dragons from this team, fantastic. How they jump up into the air, how they can hover, how they will absolutely blast the ground flying at low levels with flame. All of that movie level quality. I got some amazing screenshots of dragons. But coming across a dragon fighting a troll in the middle of this mountainous valley of green with broken castles in the background, straight out of a book, man. Straight out of some of my fantasy books that I've read through the years. But watching those two behemoths go at it, King Kong versus Godzilla in the middle of this field, and you can just sit back and enjoy it. You don't have to join in. I sat there for literally 3 to 5 minutes just watching these two just knock each other around. It was so much fun. Like, those, again, that doesn't happen in every game. Not every game makes you want to do that. This game does. And it is Drop Dead Gorgeous on PC. Again, for me and Mav, we're playing on higher end PCs, brute forcing a lot of the problems that other people are having. So our experience is going to be different than necessarily the console player or the average PC player. And I get that, and I state that all the time. I'm not going to say, again, that's why I say this game's not perfect. And I gave criticism last week to this team, again, for 2024. Why do we allow these types of games to come out with these performance issues? Why are these things not patched in advance? Why do we have the apology letters written seemingly beforehand, knowing full well that people are going to complain? Because there's no way in hell you didn't know that frames were dropping to 15 to 20 on some of the consoles in the cities. There's no way you guys missed that. That's not a QA problem. That's not, we didn't have enough QA testers to find all the little glitches. That's not a little glitch. It happens. It even happens on the PC. I can see my frames dipping down from 60s. Okay. When I get it. So you guys knew that. So I will, again, this is not a perfect game, but my experience in this game is one of nothing but great moment after great moment. I also want to point this out, and I saw some of the reviewers point this out. The side missions, you certainly have your basic side missions. That's going to be in every RPG. There's really no way to get around that. Maybe AI will start fixing that stuff and we'll get more randomness to the missions, and they won't necessarily be the ones that we've all done a billion times in other games before. There are some of those in this game, but there are already a handful of small side missions that are memorable to me, much like people talk about the Witcher side missions, much like I talked about some of the Cyberpunk side missions. There are already a handful of those in this game that you may never come across if you're not exploring. If you're one of those people that mainline, or you're one of those people that just want to get, all the weapons, all the different classes unlocked, and that's your goals, right? If you're not hitting the towns and you're not talking to everybody, there are some very well done side missions. There's one, no spoilers here, but in the main town, the first town, what is it? It starts with a V. Verendum,
Like that,
whatever it is. In the first main town, in the slums, there is a whole storyline there that you do not want to miss out on. Okay, there's a whole storyline there that you can completely 100% miss. Steele posted a picture the other day. He was posting some screenshots. He has a screenshot of a sister, like religious sister, right? Nun. Mm-hmm. In the screenshot, and I said, "Oh, that sister," because that storyline, for me, that's one of those moments where they're like, "What?" It's one of those head scratchers, and then you start to figure out what's going on, and then you get further in the mission, and you're like, "What the fuck? Really? This is what we're doing here." And it's one of those memorable moments that, again, a lot of people might never see if they don't go into the slums, if they don't do some of the smaller stuff and talk to some people. But I did it, and I'm so happy that I did it. And Steel, of course, right away was like, yeah. So, again, that's the quality here that I'm talking about that you just don't find in a lot of games these days. And again, for this game to come out in 2024, after all these other already fantastic games have launched, with the slate of amazing looking games that are to come this year, that certainly I think will be in these conversations of game of the year, this one right here is standing out above all the others by a long shot.
I can't imagine, like, just with, it's hard to explain what it is. Like, I don't even know the word for it. Like, where everybody's playthrough is so unique and different, like you just where you live in it. I guess this is probably going to be the most immersive game in that way, right? Like where the decisions matter so much, right? Where like everything is like so impactful in a game of this scale and scope, right? I think obviously a lot of games have very impactful decisions, but like not in like this big open world action kind of game like this that's that graphically impressive and all that kind of stuff. That's the only other kind of games I can think of are like a Bethesda type game.
In a lot of ways they are,
and the traditional like Western RPG, right? But I just can't imagine another game having that feeling to it,
right?
Other big great games, like I feel like going to be more linear that come out this year. This is a one of a kind experience.
It really is. It really is. An extra special shout out to whoever on the team worked on the character creation system. You guys did a phenomenal job. Again, not the most complicated or in-depth one that I've ever seen, but the transition, and I talked about this too, the transition, when you create a character in a character creation model or in a character creation mode, a lot of times when it gets in game, they don't look. I've been like, what the fuck? Oh, this is not the character I create. What is this thing? Why is this on my screen? This is not how my character looked when I was making him or her. This one here translates almost one for one. Like I said in one of my early posts about this game, I'm already addicted to photo mode, and then I go and create two of the most photogenic characters that I've ever created in a game before, which makes it 10,000 times worse because my Arisen and my Pawn are ridiculously good looking to me. And I can't say that about every freaking game. I can't.
Yeah, you make it like, oh, fuck. It doesn't look like how I thought.
No.
Like smile or something like, oh my God, what did I create? Right. It's a fucking hideous monster. Like, what I
exactly.
That's how I fucked up my first character.
But that makes it, again, that's a small thing. But when you go through that and you're playing as this character, or in this game, your main character and your main pawn are with you at all times, and you are living in this world with that character, that does add a little bit to the experience. It really does. And again, if you're somebody who doesn't give a shit and you just go to the pre-generated ones, great, that's fine. But for those of us that do take the time, that spend, again, I spent about a total of probably 2.5, 3 hours between my Arisen and my main pawn. The fact that they translate into the game as well as they do, and I'm so happy with them, has absolutely, as I'm going into photo mode and taking pictures, I stop and go, damn, good looking, man. I did a great job here. This makes my photos even better, man. Like, these are the characters I wanted. Like, this is the vision I had. It's what I saw on screen, and now it's actually in game, and it turns out that way. So hats off to the team who worked on that specifically, because man, they did a nice job. And some people have made some incredible pawns. As I'm going through and hiring pawns, some of the pawns I'm seeing in there's some damn ugly ones. I don't know what I think you guys just do it on purpose, but man, there are some good looking pawns in there too. I was like going through, I'm like, pooh, boy, some people spent a lot of time, different characters, right, from different games. Of course, everybody was doing that with the before the game even launched. But now that I've seen some of them, like the Shadow Hearts that I've seen from Baldur's Gate 3, phenomenal job, right? Just really, really cool. Really well done. So I just had to give that
real quick, just thinking about this, like for just the RPG genre in general.
Mm-hmm.
This last like 1 year between 2023 and 2024. Is this potentially the greatest 1 year run for RPGs of all time?
Yes.
Like, you talk about Baldur's Gate 3, right? You talk about Starfield. And you talk about, for you and I as you talk about Dragon's Dogma 2. Then you throw in like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for JRPG fans, Unicorn Overlord,
Grand Blue Fantasy
Relink. You have even, I wouldn't necessarily call Final Fantasy 16 a RPG, right? But it's an action RPG. It has a really good story to it and stuff to it. I think it's a good game still, but like I would just throw it in there kind of. Overall, just especially with like Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, and Dragon's Dogma 2.
It depends where you want to end
the Western RPG genre. I mean, you could keep going.
Oh yeah,
like, just
good.
Just as far as ambition, scope, uniqueness, originality, pushing the genres forward. It's been a long time since I can think of like a time span where we've had this much greatness in that genre.
I agree wholeheartedly, and you could get into double A's. You could include you could include ARPGs, looters like Diablo 4 in there with its campaign, like just freaking absolutely amazing. It depends where you want to end it, right? There have been so many great RPGs, to your point, Mav. But yeah, I definitely am in agreement with you. We could be looking at the greatest run, 1 year run, or 2 year run when it's all said and done of RPGs of all time, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just it's special, man. It is like if you're a fan of those kind of games, if you add ARPGs in there, you have Diablo, I just said, like man, it's so good. Last Epoch.
Bro. It's so damn good right now. Again, whatever genre you're in, you can probably say that about a lot of different genres. Horror genre is probably on a run that they've ever seen. Souls-like games, since Elden Ring is on a run with Liza P and all that kind of stuff. And this year, Black Myth Wukong, although Black Myth, they're still trying to say it's not really Souls-like, but I'm just saying, this is the golden age. This is what I talked about. This is what we've always talked about, man, on all of our shows, is why we believe this is the greatest time. Now, there's a lot of different things going on in the industry. Not everybody agrees with it. There's a lot of change going on, the layoffs, a lot of stuff happened. The pandemic happened. But seriously, the amount of content and the amount of quality content that we are getting, and yes, the performance issues are a problem, and the patches have become an absolute crutch. But overall, the experience of the games themselves, second to none, man. There has never been a time like this where I have a hard time deciding what I want to buy. There's never been, I can't remember the last time that I've spent as much of my budget in the beginning of the year as I have this year on these games. Like, literally, I never spend this way at the beginning of the year, because normally the beginning of the year is a little bit light. We get our Hogwarts every once in a while. We get our Elden Rings every once in a while. But for the most part, the other stuff, kind of light. This year, hell no. Every other week, It seems like for 2 months straight, it feels like there's been a game that's been on my list. Like, I want to play that now. And it's just going to continue. This year is nuts, bro. But yeah, I think it's a good point to make, Mav. The RPG run here, depending on your personal opinions, again, me and Mav are going to be a little bit skewed because we are high on Starfield. A lot of people weren't high on Starfield. So Starfield dev definitely elevates it for me. But just looking at the whole genre, even if I look at games I didn't play like Zelda and all that kind of stuff and the reception it got, and like you said, Final Fantasy and all those types of games, yeah, man, I don't know if there's ever been a greater time to be an RPG lover than right now.
Yeah.
Pretty.
It's why it's like a lot of the nitpicky stuff and like the complaining and stuff is like sometimes just like it's just gnaws at me, man. Like, look at the stuff we're getting to play. Yeah, I wish things were always perfect too, but if I have to deal with some of these things to get to play games like this, like that's a fair enough trade-off for me, like personally. It's insane.
I think there's a whole lot of rose-tinted glasses going on, because if you actually were gaming over the decades, we've never had perfect games, people.
No, yeah, like you always remember things better than they were. You know what I mean?
We've never had perfect games. Again, that's why some of this stuff doesn't bother me the way it bothers other people. And I look at some of the older gamers, and again, it's fine. You can have standards, and you can say we shouldn't be experiencing this in 2024. And I agree with you to a lot of extent. Again, I've had my rants about some of the stuff that is now excused by the publishers and devs, or just, we'll fix it later mentality. I hate that mentality. But at the end of the day, when I'm playing these games, like all these people suddenly finding out that Cyberpunk is a fucking fantastic game after 3 years, I just laugh at it. I'm like, it was a fantastic game from the beginning for me, because a lot of the shit that was bothering people or that people want to hop on the hot hate trains for, I was like, what do you guys been playing for? What have you guys been playing all these decades? Especially, like I said, the older gamers. Again, the Starfield, the problems that people absolutely threw fits over the loading screens. I'm like, how have you guys been playing video games over the past 20 years? How is that even again, if you want to talk about maybe they should have found out a way to not have as many loading screens or less loading screens, fine. But those loading screens in Starfield weren't even like the 1.5, 2 minute loading screens that we used to have in games back in the day. And every time you entered a new building, for God's sakes, like, to me, it was like, didn't even notice them because it's been a part of my gaming experience for fucking decades now.
Is there loading screens in Dragon's Dogma 2? I don't even remember or not.
No, the screen goes black when you die, right? And they reload. They reload in. When you first load up the game, obviously, there's a loading screen there. But other than that, no, there's no loading screen.
Yeah, it's crazy impressive on a game like that. But it's like also like if Dragon's Dogma 2 is in space and you're going to different planets and stuff, like
that's what it always made sense to me.
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know.
Again, people. Again, I'm not here to judge how you ever play. I just kind of scratch my head sometimes because, again, I'm having such a fucking absolute blast with games right now, and I do not have or share the feeling that some people do that gaming has gone downhill or that gaming isn't as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
The experiencing I'm having now, like you said before, Mav, I could never have dreamed of as a kid. And again, that's not saying everything's perfect by any stretch. But to me, again, it always comes down to, am I having fun? And I've never had more fun in gaming than I am right now.
Yeah.
This day. Like, I'd never, ever. So,
Jigga J says, should I play Dragon's Dogma 2 without playing the first one? You do not need to play the first one.
You do not play the first one.
In fact, even at the opening sequence of the game, it doesn't even say Dragon's Dogma 2 on it. It just says Dragon's Dogma, like on the like boot up screen. Like,
they basically rehash what happened in the first one. They don't rehash it. They just make it for this game. Almost exactly what happened in the first game, just a totally different setting. But you don't need to know any of it. If you played the first one, it would just help you know some of the lore behind some of the stuff that's going on in the world. But again, if you just walked into this like it was a brand new IP and this was the first game, you wouldn't know the difference, right? It's
just like starting a brand new game from scratch. Like kind of like I guess Elder Scrolls, like they may make references to other things.
They
That's
do.
something the
They
guys, but
make
yeah, but like
they do.
it's a
But
whole complete ass thing in itself. You don't.
yeah. Yeah, no, you don't have to play the first one at all. And again, I would highly recommend it, Jigga J. Can't obviously hearing me and Mav talk about it, you already know. Go enjoy it. And again, I don't know what you're gonna be playing on. If you're playing on Xbox, obviously understand going in 30 frames, understand going in performance, drops, dips in the major cities and other places. Heat of battle can kind of get kind of crazy and you might see some frame drops. So if that's really bothersome to you, wait until the patches come out. They're planning on fixing it because right now they don't have a dedicated 30 frames mode. They have a just lost my train of thought. They have an uncapped
unlocked
frame. Yeah, unlocked, uncapped frame mode right now. So you can actually get higher than 30 frames in some areas. So if you don't have a VRR screen that's going to bother you, then just wait for the patches. They're planning on putting in a locked 30 frames mode into the game. But again, if none of that bothers you, or if it's not that big a deal to you, it's more about how fun is the game. Go get this game. Go get this game and go and explore, man, because it's freaking phenomenal. So all the classes too, phenomenal. Again, Jesus, just so
much,
cool, man.
So much
to do.
Yeah,
so much to enjoy. Great job.
We got a membership chat earlier from Whoop Kid 665 said member for 3 months said Towerborn Insider Beta is on the Insider app.
Ooh, nice. Anybody wants to go play some Towerborn, go try to get in. Go do it. I'm not doing the demo or betas on that one. Again, I'm too involved in Dragon's Dogma 2. Can't wait for Towerborn. Looks great. Loved Castle Crashers back in the day. If you're just giving me a bigger Castle Crashers experience with added mechanics and RPG elements to it, I'm all in. Played a ton of Castle Crashers back in the day. Can't wait. All right, Mav. Let me bring up some stuff here real quick. Let me see where we want to go here, Mav. Let's talk about maybe we'll get into let's see if I can find it here real quick. Sorry, folks. Again, we didn't do a whole lot of planning today just because Mav and I were both busy, so even less than usual than what we do. But I do want to get into, Mav, maybe we'll get into the Phil stuff here. So let's start here.
Yeah.
Let's start with Tom Warren's article on The Verge about his interview and some of the news that came out. Okay, so this is real short and sweet. Actually, it was from Polygon. Polygon did the original interviews, just so everybody knows. Microsoft's gaming CEO, Phil Spencer, has dropped some hints that PC stores like Epic Game Store and Itch.io could one day arrive on Xbox consoles. In an interview with Polygon, Spencer says the console market isn't growing and that there are barriers that exist today. Quote, how can we be a part of opening up that model, asked Spencer, hinting at a potentially radical rethinking of Microsoft's Xbox ecosystem. I don't think I need to read the full article here, Mav. We've touched on a lot of this stuff, but obviously this was brought into the light again this week by Phil's
There's
comment.
A series of these things. So the first off, there was him talking about handheld gaming.
Yep, which we'll get into.
And then there was the talk about the exclusives and stuff. And then there was the talk now about the more open-ended ecosystem type thing.
Correct. That is correct. So let's start there, Mav, because we kind of laughed about this in the DMs because we've been in speculation town for 3+ years now. We've talked a lot of different things. And even before the hybrid kind of speculation started about what Xbox could be doing for next gen, we had talked about the potential down the road. And this goes back probably 2.5 years ago when we first started kind of, thinking about this stuff, about where Xbox could be and kind of where the industry was going. And we had conversations here on the Fun Speculation Network about potentially Xbox finding a way, right, to get these different ecosystems available on Xbox, to find a way to expand, as Phil has always said, play what you own wherever you are on whatever device you are currently holding, right, or have. And we took that philosophy and ran with it and said, okay, so obviously Microsoft, Windows. Obviously, they were making, PC games long before there was an Xbox, right? They've been in the gaming industry as a software maker for a long time. They have a great relationship with Gabe, right? They obviously understand that having the availability of a Steam library, of an Epic's Game Store library, GOG or whatever, GOG, whatever library of games, like that goes into their new philosophy of Xbox. Why would it not be something that they look into if they started moving in that direction? And we knew that the hardware was starting to get closer with x86 architecture to PC, that eventually down the road, we could see a possibility that that would be a real thing, that the console would still be a console, right? It would still be a closed system per se. Like it wouldn't do PC things. Like I couldn't do like Word on there or Excel sheets or, all that kind of stuff. But that they create a much trimmed down OS and they have it so that it is able to run storefronts, as I mentioned, like Steam.
Yeah.
And we talked about keyboard and mouse support becoming just kind of a natural thing, like it's already available. Like you can hook up keyboard and mouse to your Xbox, right? Your Series X or your Series S. It's not available on every game, but it's there. But that obviously would not be a big hurdle. Obviously, more so the contractual language and kind of how the money splits up is where it kind of gets murky and muddy. But Phil mentioning this, Mav, off the back of all the other stuff we've heard, them now publishing games on other consoles, and them saying more and more that we are going after the whole pie, not just this one piece, and we want to expand gaming. We want Xbox to be everywhere. And obviously from a convenience factor, I still love my console, Mav. Like I'm playing more PC than I ever have in my entire life.
Yeah.
But there's still a convenience factor that I still miss when I have to change settings on my PC, even though now I play it on my big screen. Like there's still things that I just want to pop on my Xbox, pop on my controller, have my Xbox turn on, have it just fire up on my TV, click one button, and I'm in a game. And like I'm ready to rock and roll, right? And if they can translate that to their next gen console, to their handheld, whatever combination of those two is happening, and they can make it so that I can now access and be able to purchase games on my Steam library as well. And it just plays on my box that's connected to my TV that says Xbox on it. And I don't have to think about shit. I'm in. I'm in. This is what I'm looking for. And then you add a handheld to that. But let's talk about specifically about this, Matt. These storefronts potentially coming. Some type of hybrid system where it's not going to be a PC. I said it in our opening, right? This is Phil, and if they do this, if they go this route, and again, big if, we're still in speculation town. Phil does this a lot too, where he talks out loud about some thoughts he's had. Not everything comes to fruition, but obviously something's going on in the background that he's talking about. But if they're going to revive the failed Steam machine, for people who don't remember, maybe you guys aren't old enough, maybe you guys just never paid enough attention. There was a time when Steam tried to do this. They tried to make a PC for the living room, right? That was a game machine. And it was called the Steam machine.
Yeah.
Most people probably remember it for the controller that most people thought was god awful, but there's some people still to this day who praise it and say it was just ahead of its time and they just needed to refine it a little bit more. But it had the touchpad on it before anybody else was doing touchpads. It had all that kind of stuff because they tried to incorporate a controller to simulate keyboard and mouse, right?
Yep.
And again, was this 7 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe a little bit longer when they tried this?
Yeah,
but it failed miserably.
I think.
It failed miserably. They had multiple manufacturers making Steam machines, right? I think Alienware was one of them. They had multiple manufacturers. So you had all these price points. Nobody understood because you had all the different performance levels that you normally would find in a PC. So you had, $1,500, $2,000 Alienware Steam machines, and then you had $900 lesser machines, right? And it just never took off. Right? They never got it right. It just never hit. The PC people were like, why would I buy this? I got my PC. I'm good. The console players are like, I have zero interest in playing those types of PC games. I don't want a Steam account. I'm not buying this. Mav, do you think if they can meld the two and they can come out and say, we are still a console, this is still an Xbox. However, you're still going to get your Xbox ecosystem. You're still going to have your friends list. You're still going to have your achievements. You're still going to have your Xbox console games, all that good stuff. But you will be able to go ahead and bring over your libraries from PC if you choose to, and you will be able to play them on this machine with no fiddling around like you do on a PC. Do you think Xbox could pull this off? Do you think they could resurrect the Steam machine in their own version, actually have it be successful in the living room? What do you think, bro?
I think it would be interesting because in a way, Steam's already accomplished this themselves in bringing back the Steam machine
With the Steam
with
Deck.
the Steam Deck. It's a different
Correct.
form factor, but it's made people realize, I think, the capability and the market for this is actually strong, right? To have a dedicated device built around a Steam library. Xbox, for even like, though they don't sell as many as PlayStation or Nintendo, you still have several million consoles out there. So it's a very established market, right? You have like 20 plus
Like
million.
3 million?
Yeah, 20 plus million. Like,
Yeah.
what, I don't know what
Almost
it's at
30.
right now,
No.
30.
But they're probably
what it-
approaching 30.
Yeah,
They're probably
right
approaching.
around there. That's a lot, right?
Yes.
Like Steam would love that. Like, to be clear, to have that many out there. So like, I think there's always a possibility because when we started talking about this, I'm trying to remember back 100% where we started these conversations, and it was I think when the word meta kept getting thrown around for like Facebook and like how they were going to see the future with meta, everything was going to be in all these apps and like open ecosystems, and you're going to be able to be in this virtual world and access all these different storefronts, and like it's just this digital ecosystem where everything exists. And the thought process then was like, well, that's kind of like what consoles are now. Like you just boot up an Xbox and you have Netflix, you have Spotify, you have your movie stores, you have the internet browser, you have your games library, you have all these different things. Now, what I always thought is that was kind of just going to expand, because that's kind of the world that we already live in. And as things keep changing with technology, and as Microsoft's message to like regulators and to the industry about trying to force Apple and Google to be more open-ended ecosystems and storefronts, like they kind of almost have to, lead by action in order to force change in that if they want to. And they're like a big corp, so they're ones that can kind of cause change in the industry like they already have with subscription gaming. So for me, it's like looking at, okay, well, if they really want to create this open-ended ecosystem world or this meta type thing, then they're going to eventually have to allow things themselves on their own closed ecosystem type devices, right? So they have, and what do they have? They have Xbox. That's the only real like closed ecosystem type store device they have. Everything else is open. Surface devices are open. You have the PCs, obviously, are like that's just their software on other manufacturers like devices and stuff. So for them, that's kind of like always been the company that they are. Now, you would think traditionally, well, okay, allowing your games on other platforms is a way not to sell devices, right? Like it can take value away, but allowing more things on your devices can also increase the value of your hardware in a way. So console sales wise, it actually might be a benefit, although that's not what everything is about. I think that it's interesting because that's already the world that Microsoft lives in with every other device that they have. So taking that approach to gaming might kind of expand things in a weird way for them with the console market, because and also for Steam, because Steam sees like Xbox as an established plug into your device piece of hardware. Now, if they could get their library onto Xbox consoles, it'd be like, okay, well, that's like 30 million more people that have access to our games and can potentially choose to use their storefront. Then I think about how many existing players of Xbox would use that. And I think quite a few. I think there's quite a few Xbox gamers that also play on PC that have Steam libraries. So then I think, okay, well, would it be awesome to and add value to an Xbox console to have a device where you can choose the best place to buy whatever thing you have? Because what the PC is today. Like you can go to the Steam store if you find a better deal on a game. You can go to the Xbox store. You can go to Epic Game Store. All those different things. Now, what if I had all those accessible on a Xbox console? Then at that point, it's just like an open-ended ecosystem device. It adds more value to the device. Yeah, maybe Microsoft sells less software on it because now they have more competition. But maybe in general, they end up selling more devices and selling to more people because they're now in competition on the living room to more people. Whereas PlayStation, they don't have a chance to be on there, right? So like you're selling not just to Xbox customers, you're also selling to Steam customers. So what's more, right? Being something that everybody wants and having a piece of it, or having a closed ecosystem that some people want. So I think there's a way that it's beneficial for both, even though some people may not see it that way. But I think that it would be a crazy, because imagine this, okay? You have like this summer showcase or whatever for Xbox, and you have like, here, we're ready to present this new iteration of the digital Xbox, right? The Xbox Series Z or something, whatever, right? And you have it there on stage. Here it is. It's white, it's discless or whatever. And here it is, booting up into Xbox. They turn it on and are showing like, hey, this is the new update for the UI or whatever. We're doing a new update. Oh, what's this? You know, some little apps on the home screen, a little Steam icon. So then Gabe Newell walks out on stage. He's like, that is interesting, Phil.
I love when we plan out their showcases. I love when we do this.
What is this? What does that button do, Phil? Like, well, Gabe, it's funny you would ask. Why don't you give it a go? Then Gabe says, okay, well, let me click on this button. He clicks it. And then all of a sudden, the UI, everything transforms into a Steam OS on an Xbox. And there's your Steam library. It's like, holy shit. It's like, hey, I'm just going to go play this game here on my TV that I got, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to think about that. Okay, well then, what if you add in a like Epic Game Store or whatever? Let's say like Luna, Amazon Luna is an option on there or something as well. Like, I mean, they're already offering other subscription services to it. Ubisoft Plus is on there like as well. So it's not out of the question that they would ever consider doing crazy things like this. And you think about the value of that towards a consumer, right? For me, I'm like, fuck yes. I want that. That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be on, well, I think for a lot of gamers, they would see it as the cheapest way to put a PC on a TV.
Right.
Right? To put a PC on a TV, to have that library. The interesting thing is, how do they make it work? Like, obviously the console, Xbox console is already kind of like a, what do you call a benchmark type for development. So I don't think it'd be that crazy for the developers to implement from Steam. It's about licensing and all those kind of situations. Like, I don't know like what's the difference between a console and a PC, you know?
How does live work? Yeah,
it has to be like business wise the big challenge, right?
Right.
Even maybe more so than the technological challenge of it. But it's something that I think I would love to see happen one day. And when Phil speaks and does these interviews and stuff like that, I think a lot of times he talks about just in generalities about where he would like to see things go or what he thinks things may go to. Not necessarily something that's directly about to happen. You know what I mean? Like, things to work towards, right? Or things that he thinks this is going to be what happens, or and all that kind of stuff. So we know where the kind of mindset is at, and I think ultimately it's better for us, and that's what is the most important thing. Because if you tell me I have access to my Xbox library and my Steam library, that makes the device just that much more valuable for me personally, right? Like, it's just more you can play, the more options you have, the more competition for game prices and sales and all that kind of stuff. Like, why not? Let's go. I would love it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And if they are making the enthusiast box that we talked about, right, Mav, that we believe potentially they could be doing, right? And they're trying to branch out and kind of trying to do their own thing, right? Why not? Again, if you're walking into next gen with a clean slate and you're like, again, this is not me saying this, right? This is not how I would be approaching it, but Phil has made it clear. And again, you guys can argue what his words actually mean all day long, but I think that they've made it clear. They have waved the white flag on the old school console war. Okay, they're done with thinking of it in those terms like it used to be. So I'm going to take them at face value through all the stuff that he said. Obviously, them putting some of their games and more to come, I believe, onto other consoles says we don't care. Like, again, that's not what we're shooting for anymore. So if you're walking into next gen with that mentality, and you don't have to concern yourselves with trying to outsell Sony or outsell Nintendo in one of those markets, and you're saying, screw it, we're going to start pushing the industry towards where we think it's going anyways, which is open ecosystems. And do be aware, folks, that a lot of this also goes to regulatory bodies and what's happening around the globe right now. And Jez brought this up with Colin on an interview that he did with Colin on Sacred Symbols. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but I listened to pieces, bits and pieces. But Jez brought it up too. Like, they're looking big. Microsoft has they are a worldwide company. They're one of the largest companies in the entire world. They understand the politics and the stuff that's happening behind the scenes better than most people. They have connections, they have lobby groups, they have insiders, they have politicians that they talk to. They understand kind of the mentality worldwide of what's happening, especially in the EU specifically. Closed ecosystems are potentially on the way out. And it could be just a matter of time before they get done with Apple and Google, that they start turning their eyes to the game industry as well. Microsoft wants to be ahead of the curve, and people can complain, and we've certainly had our criticisms of them. They've certainly shot themselves in the foot trying to be ahead of the curve many times. What happens if they're right this time? And they're looking at the total, the picture in totality. They're taking that RTS view, as Steele likes to say, the satellite view of things. And they're saying, listen, we believe the industry is headed in this direction. We are going to be at the forefront. We're going to trailblaze away from this old mentality because it just wasn't working for us anyway. So we're going to go do our thing. Critics be damned. We're going to make this happen. And they go the enthusiast route. They go with the hybrid route, and they start trying to open things up within the ecosystems. They try to start offering a box that isn't a PC. Again, it's not going to do all the stuff that a PC does. It is still going to be focused as a game machine, but they are going to offer ways to have all of your libraries available to you, or as many people as they can get to agree to. I think it's the perfect way to do this if they can figure it out. Again, I'm not saying it's happening. I'm not saying that they're going to have all the answers. I'm not saying it's just going to show up in 2026, 2027, and they're going to be like, every ecosystem is now available to you on our box. I'm not saying that. there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be things that they have to figure out business wise. Like I said, and Mav said, that is probably the hardest part of all of this, is how to work all these deals with all these different people and all these different companies to make it all work. And obviously you still have things like Sony. How does Sony respond? Like, because technically speaking, you know, we got word again this week and people act surprised. And I'm like, man, where you guys been? We knew that Sony was working on a PC storefront. News came out this week again and everybody acted like it was brand new news, but whatever. Of course they're working on a PC storefront. I've said time and time again, I think it's one of the reasons why they don't have day and date PC games yet. When they get their own storefront, I think they will have those games day and date in their PC storefront, and they will not put them on Steam or Epic or anywhere else until maybe a year down the road. And then they'll expand out, but they're going to take as much profit as they can from their own storefront. So you'll have people like Sony. How will Sony act? If Microsoft is no longer like a direct competitor in the console space per se, how they think about consoles, and again, we don't know what Sony's future plans are. They could be thinking this kind of hybrid system too. I don't think so. I think they're going to go more traditional, but who knows? Maybe they are. Are they going to care as much? Now, Sony could look at it still as, oh, you guys might say you're not competing with us, and you might say, hey, nothing we do is going to change our position within the console market itself, the 150, 175 million people that everybody fights over. You can say all that, but if you introduce a box that is offering to all the storefronts or offering different libraries to your players, and you're going to include our games in that because our games are available on Steam, that's a problem for us. We don't want that. Like, could they throw a fit? Could they stop it? Right? That's some of the stuff that they have to work through. And that will be very, very interesting as we go forward here, if some of this starts to become a reality. And again, neither Mav nor I are stating that this is the reality. This is just Phil talking open like he does, kind of just hypothesizing about things that he's looking at or considering that they could be considering within Microsoft and Xbox. And we'll see where it all plans out. But again, you make a box like this, you introduce a handheld that is seamlessly integrated with your box and with all this other stuff. I'm all in, man. You introduce a handheld that can dock, that can give me really awesome performance on my big screen. I'm in on that. That's fine too. If you're trying to do the whole Switch thing or the Steam Deck, that's great. Do it. I want to see it. But I think innovation here is the key. And I think that Microsoft really, and Xbox, again, I keep saying that, Phil's the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, so we can interchange those two. But I think they are looking that far down the road, and I think that we have been spot on in some of our speculation about potentially what they're doing. And now that ABK is done, and it seems to have definitely accelerated all their plans to the nth degree, that I think that we could be seeing that vision start to become a reality as we get closer to next gen and we start hearing whispers about what their next system or systems are going to look like. So yeah, interesting conversation. I know not everybody's agreeable with this. Not everybody's happy about this. Again, for me, it's about the games at the end of the day. Xbox is still going to be producing massive amounts of games, but if you give me a box with the convenience of a console, and I don't feel like fiddling with my PC, and I just want to fire up Dragon's Dogma 2, and I just want to sit down, and I've got that Steam copy, and I can access my library through your box with a couple quick hits, I'm in, man. Give it to me. I'm all about it. I'm all about you guys trying this again. Go for it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm intrigued by what they potentially could do here. And that leads us into kind of the handheld talk this week too. And we don't have any super chats or anything, do we, Matt? I haven't been looking.
No, we're good, man.
Okay, cool. So also in the interview with Polygon, what this kind of all came into as one package deal, but they specifically asked him, and I'll read a little bit of the article for this one. Phil Spencer has tried, and again, this comes from Polygon. This is from Chris Plant over at Polygon. Shout out to him. I always try to give credit where credit's due when we do this stuff. Phil Spencer has tried all the new PC gaming handhelds, the Asus ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go, and the Steam Deck. He's impressed, but he can't shake handshake one question. How would he make them more Xbox? Quote, I want my Lenovo Legion Go to feel like an Xbox, Spencer told Polygon in an interview during the annual GDC. I brought the Legion Go with me to GDC. I'm on the airplane and I have this list of everything that makes it not feel like an Xbox. Forget about the brand. More like, are all my games there? Do all my games show up with my save files that I want? I'll tell you one game that doesn't right now and is driving me crazy is Fallout 76. It doesn't have cross save. I want to be able to boot into the Xbox app in a full screen, but in a compact mode. And all my social experiences there. Like I want it to feel like the dash of my Xbox when I turn on the television, except I want it on these devices. According to Spencer, the Xbox hardware team, led by Rowan Sones, is considering different hardware for form factors and things that they could go do as it plans the future of Xbox hardware. What should we build that will find new players, Spencer said, that will allow people to play at times when they couldn't go play in the past? In our expansive interview, Spencer described two approaches to making Xbox available in handhelds, the hardware versus the software approach. As he said, he has strong feelings about what a handheld Xbox device should feel like, but he also recognizes, having learned from the console business, that players may choose brands other than Xbox. For those players, Spencer wants to improve the Xbox handheld gaming software experience too, particularly for people who have devices running Windows like the Legion Go and the Ally. Quote, I like the fact that Valve, Lenovo, and Asus, however you guys like to pronounce it, went out and innovated in a new form factor. And I will say that when I'm playing on those devices, it almost feels more like a console than a PC 9 times out of 10. The things that usually frustrate me are more Windows-based than device-based, which is an area I feel some ownership of. Like, I want to be able to log in with a controller. I've got my list of things we should go do. Spencer has spent time in his tenure with Microsoft pushing Xbox to be both console experience and software experience that follows players wherever they enjoy games. That philosophy expands with his new vision on handheld gaming. From a game creator standpoint, Spencer said, I can go build a single version of my game that spans more hardware, reaches more customers. And I would say for players, it reduces friction. Like if I want to go play my console games on the go with the handheld, I don't want to only be able to buy one brand of handheld, right? I want everything that we are doing in the hardware space to be great. But if somebody chooses to go play somewhere else, I don't want them to feel like a lesser Xbox player. Over the past 7 years, we've seen the Xbox development team get creative with its software, moving games to new platforms, building up the Game Pass subscription service, and making games playable on smartphones through streaming. As we wrapped up our conversation, Spencer wouldn't outright announce an official Xbox handheld, but he did say he sees a similar level of creativity coming to hardware that Xbox has brought to software. Quote, I think it's important, said Spencer. You and I have been around for a couple of days. Look at the real inflection points in our industry. Like, look at the Wii. It was hardware innovation that was linked with great software innovation. All right. Mav, obviously, again, the smoke has been out. I mean, It's to the point where we believe that it's flames, that there's actually a fire here, that, we've heard, obviously, Jazz confirmed that they have multiple devices, handheld devices, that working prototypes. Yeah. And these aren't the old prototypes that we had heard about previously. These are new ones. He doesn't have a conversation like he just did here in this interview without it being something that is absolutely happened. Like, this is when it happens is the other question, and we've speculated on that. But this has happened. They are going to move into this handheld space. They have talked about how important the mobile space is. The access, again, he points out every single time he has an interview, accessing your games wherever you are. He talks here about having a device that allows you to access your games where you couldn't before. He talks about playing the same game, whether it's on your console, your handheld, no matter what device you're on, something we were just talking about with the hybrid system, be able to play your PC games on a console-like device, like with seamless. This, again, goes into bigger conversations we have all had about them really driving home and innovating in the hardware space to make your experience seamless amongst any device that you may have. And I think that's their ultimate goal here. But the handheld specifically here, Matt, he talks about kind of their vision, a little bit about what an Xbox handheld would look like or feel like. But he also talks about, well, if somebody decides to go buy one of these other devices, I want our software to give them that same Xbox experience too. Mav, hearing how much Phil has to say on this subject, and obviously how much he's thought about it, and they've obviously been talking about it, where are you at with this, brother? What did you pull from this interview, if anything, and what do you think Phil ultimately is going to decide to do here?
Yeah. Lot to unpack with this.
Yeah.
Real quick though, because I know I'm gonna take some time here. Shout out to Decado for hitting this with a 10 bomb.
Oh, Decado, attention, fun speculation, hype train, riders. We just added 2 cars to the hype train. We've been cruising along at an easy Mach 2.0. As we always start out the show, Decado shows up and he says, what is going on, everybody? Mach 2.0, this is unacceptable. We have to get this going to a Mach 3.0 immediately. And he came flying overhead with the easy 10 dunk, and he dropped off a bag of coal on his way. We fed it into the furnace, so please fasten those 4-point harnesses down tight, because we are now at a Mach 3.0, everybody. Choo-choo, motherfuckers, choo-choo. Thank you, Decado.
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks, Decado. Appreciate it, bro. Choo-choo.
I heard you trying to do it the other night a little bit. I was lurking.
Yeah. Did I do okay?
You did all right. You did all right. I just thought it was hilarious because you couldn't stop from laughing midway through.
I was trying to sound like Pong, you know?
I know. I heard a little bit of it.
Choo-choo, motherfuckers, we're at a Mach 3.0 now. Oh, my God. Susie! Hi! How are you? How's Pops? Hope you all are doing okay.
Hi, Susie.
All right. So I saw this, and it was interesting, a parallel at first, because this was like the same day everybody was dooming Xbox hardware, right? Because like a publisher told Christopher Dring something, and then Christopher Dring said something on a podcast and said he's like concerned about future of hardware because it's flatlined in Europe and all this kind of stuff, right? And it was like at the same time we have this new interview with Tom Warren at The Verge. Was it Tom Warren or wasn't Tom Warren?
No, Polygon.
Sorry, yeah,
Polygon.
My bad.
Polygon. Yep.
And Phil Spencer talking about they're actively working on hardware, you know, in the future of hardware, and also making it like other devices more Xboxy and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like the key takeaway for me was when he was talking earlier on in that article about the head of the product development or the hardware development, something Rones. I can't remember the name.
First name is Roan.
Something. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll pull it back up here real quick.
Roan Sones or
something? So Roan Sones, something like that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of rhyming names in this industry.
Yeah, Roan Sones. That's his name. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
But he says, you know, they're actively working on the next things, and obviously he's talking about in this space, right? And then as well, they want to make those other devices feel more Xboxy, right? So that means they are making, to me, just looking at what he said,
Roan Sones,
Roan Sones, making a dedicated Xbox handheld device, right? And also looking at making those other devices that are more PC oriented feel better, Windows wise, to make it more of a user friendly experience for like a dedicated gaming device instead of having to deal with the Windows bullshit, right? So that's pretty much what I took away from that, and that I think because he keeps alluding to this, and I mean, there's just way too much smoke on this shit, man. It's like this is, I think, probably sooner than later that we're going to get hardware I like this from Xbox. But it also talking about, you know, how we talked about the other conversation, the open and ecosystem stuff. It makes me question and wonder what that future iteration of the hardware is going to be like, and the challenges they face, like even the thing that Christopher Dring brought up about if publishers stop, you know, supporting it. Well, if everything is PC oriented, that's not really an option.
Right.
that takes that out of the equation because all these developers or most of the time are releasing on PC. And if the Xbox was the PC at the end of the day, at that point, then that is even an easier decision for them just to, check that box. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think this is where we're headed. I don't know exactly what forms they take. I think we're going to have kind of a different situation coming up in the next few years where we're going to have really interesting hardware come out that we've never really seen before. And I'm starting to wonder if future generations of Xbox could potentially be Xbox PCs for the TV. Not just, hey, how the consoles are so PC like these days, but Xbox themed PCs for the TV, like Steam Machine tried to do before. But here's an Xbox PC for the TV, kind of, right? And that would take care of all of those kind of things. If they have the dedicated better system overall for launching into the UI and all that stuff, kind of making it like into a console when you launch it, that kind of check marks that. It wouldn't really be that different for console gamers. And maybe the handheld would be kind of a way of bridging that gap. And it's be more in direct competition between like a Steam Deck and Lenovo device and like the ROG Ally and all those kind of things, right? So you would have, okay, maybe that device, and then maybe they try it there, or they just say this is a pure handheld console, native closed ecosystem type device. And it's like I don't know which one direction they go in the next few years, because there's been a lot of talk about this going on now for a while, about that PC-ness of the consoles in the future from Xbox. About how they can open things up and that would solve a lot of their problems. But at the same time, that's not necessarily what console gamers want to hear, right? Because they want more traditionally like a dedicated, just this is like traditional Xbox console. So I feel like they're trying to figure all that out with these prototypes right now. And that's got to be the thing. And I think the key is, more than even the hardware itself, is the software behind it. And I think when they talk about different prototypes, maybe they're talking about prototyping the software on these different hardware devices. Now, the hardware lead obviously has to make stuff dedicated to this, but then you talk about Sarah Bond's role right now is to bridge the gap for all these different things and combine them into one kind of like great experience going forward. I think we're going to get a handheld announcement this holiday. I don't know if it'll launch this holiday, but I think as early as this holiday, we might get a handheld announcement.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
But I just don't know if it's going to be like Xbox PC handheld, or if it's going to be dedicated like Series. This is a Series S in your hand handheld. And I don't know what to make of it from that article. Like, maybe they go their own dedicated device and then also do the other thing at the same time with the software for the other devices. But if they really wanted to master that OS and operating system and like, or not OS, but like UI or whatever you want to call it, having their own device built around it would be probably the best way. Right? So I don't know, man. It's like there is so much uncertainty, not in a concern kind of way, but in just like, what is it going to be? What are they going to make? I'll tell you what I want is I want a dedicated Series S, like handheld, But then the next generation, I want that Steam / Xbox / open-ended ecosystem type device. I don't know. What do you make of it, Pong?
Well, something's happening.
Yeah.
I just like I said, I have no interest in a Series S type handheld. It wouldn't be for me.
Yeah.
Fine if they want to make one, if they're going to test things out, test the waters, kind of introduce people to the idea of Xbox making a handheld. And they want to put out like a version 1.0, a much more basic version that still is native, obviously, and still has impressive specs as far as a handheld goes. And really get a feel for how people what they like, what they don't like, so that version 2, the next gen version that you kind of alluded to, is that much better. That's great. That's fine. Again, put it out there. There will be a base of fans that will certainly buy it, for sure. I don't know what kind of numbers we'd be looking at, but I think it'd be cool for all those people that do have a use for it. Again, the handheld part of it has to blow me away. It has to be future proof for me to find personally a use for it to justify whatever cost they're going to label it with. And that's why I would wait on the next gen. But I definitely think that, again, there is no way Phil's talking the way he is without, and there's no way that all the stuff that we've heard that people know is happening inside, that this is something that's going down.
It's not
and
talking about generalities when he says
No.
they are making devices. Right. They're working on
right.
it. You know what I mean? That's
right.
not, that is literally saying this is happening.
Yeah. It happened before. I mean, again, he said they were going to go into VR and they never did, right? Things do change, business change, but handheld gaming is on the upswing again, and it falls in line with their philosophy. They want you connected to the ecosystem as much as possible. Again, the more time you spend within the Xbox ecosystem, the more chances you are that you're going to spend more money and invest in those games and in the DLC and your time. Again, that is such a huge stat these days for these companies, right? Engagement. And they know that they are missing out on that portion. Now, again, they've worked with their partners to make sure that Xbox is certainly represented on some of these other devices. And Phil talks about making it even better. And he wants it to be, again, the same experience on those third-party devices as they would be on a first-party device, as it is on your Xbox console. So, again, the strategies are all there. They've obviously got this all mapped out. Rowan, I believe, is, and somebody check and correct me wrong if I'm wrong, but I believe Rowan was the Surface team, right? Part of the Surface team that they brought over. The Surface team is now working with Xbox as well. And the Surface team, this makes a lot of sense. I know there's been some back and forth about that in the community too, whether or not the Surface team took it away from Jason Ronald, but no, Jason Ronald
got a promotion.
Yeah, he got a promotion. He's still working. And I think they've got two. It would make sense. The Surface, again, I've used the Surface Pro. I used the Surface Pro for a long time. In fact, I started podcasting on Surface. Surface is an awesome piece of equipment, piece of hardware. The Surface team knows what they're doing when it comes to hardware. So the fact that they could be working on the handheld gives me a lot of hope that it's going to come out and it's going to be damn cool, whatever it is, whether it's the first version or whether it's that next gen version. But again, I'm really excited for the next gen stuff to potentially see what they do down the road. If they start out with this smaller version, which is something that they are indeed, and they had a working prototype a couple years ago for a Series S version. Obviously, tech has changed, so it'll be a better form factor, probably better battery life, all that good stuff, better heat control. All that's great. But they probably had most of that work done. My excitement is for what they probably, and why Jez said they've got multiple devices, is what they're going to do down the road for that next gen. Because I want that future-proof one. I want that one that is more, like you said, Mav, PC-like, right? More Steam Deck-like, whatever hybrid-like they're going with, Xbox is for the next gen. That's what I'm excited to see. But I definitely think you're spot on. I've said it. I would lean that they're going to have an announcement this holiday. I don't know if it's ready for launch, or if it'll launch early next year, but I definitely think that Sarah was obviously stating they're going to talk about some upcoming things this holiday. I think this is one of them. I think it is probably the first version of their handheld coming this year. But
where would you reveal it at the Game Awards?
Yeah. I would do what you did with the Series X and reveal it at the Game Awards. Again, people hate that. Again, a lot of people hate Keeley. A lot of people say we don't need Keeley. Lots of criticism for Keeley, but you can't deny the eyes that are there. And again, this isn't going to they've got, if they're going to expand Xbox and they're trying to do all of these things, including putting their first party games elsewhere, you got to continue to advertise outside of just, oh, we're going to do it at the Xbox showcase where the majority of people showing up are the Xbox fans. You need to do it in places like the Keeleys that do draw eyes from everywhere. And you can poo-poo it. You can say all those people don't want to buy Xbox anyways. What you never know what's going to catch people's attentions, and you have to continue to try to grab as many eyes from different places that you normally wouldn't get the spotlight from. You have to use these moments, and the Keeleys is still, as an advertising spot, a great spot to do something like this. That's why they chose to do the Series X there. I think you do it with this handheld for sure. If you're going to break into the market, you make a big splash. You put it there. Yep. That's what I would do. For sure.
Keeley doesn't like hardware stuff at his shows, but
yeah, well, whatever.
Who cares?
Money talks and
it's
bullshit.
about the games, and then he'll have like a fucking
we all know
commercial.
That's bullshit anyway. Right. We all know it's bullshit. Again, money talks. So he doesn't
care. He'll have The Rock like talk about his energy drink.
Energy drinks for freaking 5 minutes.
Yeah. While The Rock doesn't have time to actually have a real video, he just like FaceTimes from fucking gym. Like, hey,
getting done working out.
What's up, guys? I tried to make time for you. I'm a sweaty mess. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah. Props to Rock for whatever. Again, how easy would it be, man? Like make a couple cool million, just promoting your own energy drink, but while you're working out, just take a phone video. God, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we could promote Fun Speculation energy drink and all we had to do was just do a camera promo? We made like a couple $1,000,000.
Yeah, in just like 10 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is my maximum effort here. You know?
We just record. We're on a Zoom call together on our phones, and we just record that as our spot. Hey, it's PM in the PM energy drink, everybody. Mav and I couldn't take the time out of our day to actually do a full promo, but we're here together on Zoom, and we've got this great new energy drink that we think you're gonna love. So go check it out.
Love it.
Choo-choo, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
That's what that energy drink's called. It's choo-choo, motherfuckers.
Choo-choo.
No, it's
choo-choo
called
MFers.
It's called Mach 10.
Mach 10 energy drink.
Yeah, Mach 10.
And the tagline will be choo-choo MFers.
How about Astro Train?
No, it sounds like Astroglide.
No, it's from Transformers, motherfucker. Astro Train.
I know where it's from, but it sounds like Astroglide nowadays. You can't do anything that has sexual connotation. Can't. I know where Astro Train was from, bro. I had it.
You had Astroglide?
No, I had Astro Train. Transformer. You bitch. Asshole train. Way to go, Vic.
Yeah.
All right. Sex box. Everybody plays.
Yeah. Well, I was saying the chat was trying to think of the name, like X-Go, X-Boy. Yeah. I said you call it the Series E.
Right.
Right. E for
Series
everywhere. So it's
so
you got the Series S, the Series E, and the Series X.
Yep. Sex box.
And you have the best experience when you have all three.
Right. Makes perfect sense to me. I mean, again.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not, man? Why not? Let's do it. I agree. All right. What else do we want to talk about here, Mav? Now do you got anything else on your list?
There was the white Series X that was spotted in the wild that potentially supposedly if it's not fake.
If it's not fake, yes.
I thought it would be smaller if it's not fake.
So did I, but they're not really caring.
It literally just looks like the Series X except without the slot.
Correct. We don't know how tall it is, though. It does look similar, but it could be thinner and shorter.
Could be.
And it could just be the picture. Could be.
And the picture could be complete bullshit fake. It was very bad quality.
Of course.
I got a question for anybody that is leaking these pictures or taking these pictures of these like hardware devices or whatever. How come you have technology from like fucking 15 years ago that you're using to take these pictures with? You're working around next level shit that is like it hasn't even been released yet, and you're taking a picture with like a 4 megapixel fucking like iPhone
I think they do
2.
it on purpose. I think they do it on
And
purpose.
like if it looks like jaggy, it's got jaggies on it, man. Like
Maybe it was a picture of a picture.
where are the jaggies from? Like why? Like I don't understand this
I
stuff.
don't know.
I mean, I think
Well,
the picture is kind of. I mean, you can see shadow from like the hand and stuff like that, but like, why is
yeah.
this so bad quality? It's like if somebody has a picture of Bigfoot. Oh, see that thing like way
Oh,
out
right,
there?
right.
It's like so blurry and shitty. Even though like I have an iPhone fucking 14. Like
Yeah.
what?
It's like UFOs.
I don't understand.
I know. Neither do I. But it is what it is. So yes, for anybody who doesn't know, there was supposedly leaked images of the all digital Series X, which has been rumored. It is, as Mav said, not the cylinder that we saw from the previous leaks, right? And Phil said that those things had changed, those plans had changed. It is straight up the same as the Series X, just without a disk drive, as it looks in the pictures, and it's white. God awful fucking white.
Was the USB drive on it a USB A? I think that in the picture it was a USB A. But
Is it?
remember, like the leaks were
I
all
don't know.
supposed to be like on the news devices be USB C. I gotta look at
I
that
don't.
again.
I look at that again and tell. I don't know. I can't tell because there's jaggies everywhere. Anyway. So yeah, I mean, I don't have any thoughts on it. This is not something I want. Again, this is not going to be a pro version. This is just going to be supposedly the only changes, according to the leaks on the inside, was the thermals. So that's the only thing that changed. So it's a little bit lighter, obviously without the disk drive and the thermals inside being changed, but everything else supposedly is the same.
It's
On
USB A, bro.
yeah. So there you go. Again, it makes sense if you're just looking at it from a standpoint that they're just going to put something out that is a little bit cheaper, right? And that it didn't do a whole lot of R&D because they're not putting because they're planning on launching next gen sooner than later. So I guess if you're not going to go to all the trouble, if you're not going to make a big deal out of it, but you want to get something out there like this, then you just kind of use what you've got. You don't change up your manufacturing process a whole lot. Here you go. Here's a white, all digital Series X. Again, for me, does nothing. First of all, I hate white consoles. For those of you that haven't noticed, I hate white consoles. I think it's the dumbest color ever for electronics. Electronics collect dust, they collect dirt. I hate white. I just can't stand white.
Make it green.
So, right, do something cool with it. Put some
yeah.
put some RGBs in it. Something. Fucking do. Like I don't care. I'm not even the biggest RGB guy, but make it light up something. Like like we used to, like when we first saw the Series X and we thought the top lit up. I thought that was dope as shit. Then we found out it was just painted. Okay, all right, whatever. Again, I just don't like the white. If it's gonna be $100 less than this full-fledged Series X, fine. I would say I heard some people talking about this. You know, I know why they tried the Series S. I know why it exists. I get the concept, but ultimately they probably should have just done this from the beginning this way. But again, the Series S has been successful, so I'm not going to take away from it. It has worked to some degree, but it didn't have the impact that they thought it would for varying reasons. But again, for anybody looking for an all digital Xbox that might be cheaper, will be cheaper, I should say, than the Series X, then here you go. You're going to have this. It's white. A lot of people are going to be excited for the white. I know a lot of people like the white stuff. So it's going to come out. It's not going to have a whole lot of fanfare, I don't think. I actually think whatever their new controller is, Mav, if it's the Elite 3 with the haptics that a lot of people do seem to like, I think that'll get more fanfare than this all digital Xbox. But what'd you think, Matt? What'd you think about this?
I mean, I don't know.
Other than the jerseys.
Like I would like a little bit different design. Like if it's just cheaper, more storage, I won't have a reason to get one. They don't, you know what I mean? I guess for people going into a store, today it would make some sense. I don't know. It wouldn't excite me in any kind of way.
Yeah.
It's just
No.
it would exist.
This right. It's for those people that potentially, like you said,
And
just walk in the store.
yeah, it's just a little bit less than a regular
Right.
Series X. So
Cool.
but what if
Yes.
it's not smaller because they use that space,
Mm-hmm.
put a little bit something extra in the box, a little oomph,
What?
a little bit more.
They're
Oomph.
not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it, bro.
A little bit like AI chip or something, you know.
Makes zero sense to do that.
Let's put a little. Yeah,
It makes zero sense for
yeah,
everybody
it
that
would
wants to.
also make zero sense, especially since there's USB-A on the front of that motherfucker. Like they, you know what I mean? Like they're not obviously not worried about changing too much. It's literally just no disk drive. So
Correct.
I think more storage, same price, more storage, less, but no drive.
Yeah, different thermals on the inside make it a little bit lighter. That's all this thing. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know.
It is what it is, man. I get it. It doesn't do anything for me. If people are excited for the white, I'm sure there'll be some people that go out and get it. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, great. But again, I think all their R&D is going into the handheld stuff, and obviously whatever
And what's
this
going next, yeah,
huge next gen, biggest technological leap, generational leap we've ever seen, according to Sarah Bond, that they're shooting for. That's where all that work's going into. And I know they had to have made that decision a couple years ago to screw making a pro. And I think they're, again, I'm on the train that they're going to launch early 2026. I think they're going to go 2026 and jump start. So, but we'll see. But it is in the wild. If you guys want to go check out the pictures, again, it's not a whole lot to look at. Bunch of jaggies, like Mav said, and it's a white Series X without a disk drive. So there you go. Let's see what else we got here, Mav. Take-Two. We talked about this in the opening a little bit, but mentioned it. Gearbox. Good old Randy Pitchford. I like Randy. Randy's a wild man. Randy's a party animal. He'll never stop partying. Probably partying in his grave. So Randy Pitchford. Obviously, I love Borderlands. You guys know this. I'm a Borderlands fan from back in the day. Played them all. Certainly didn't play as much of 3 as I did of 1 and 2 and Tiny Tina's. Love Tiny Tina's. I know that's divisive. Some people like it. Some people don't like it. I like Tiny Tina's. Endgame wasn't special. So therefore, we played through it. We played a lot of it. Enjoyed my experience. I don't have a problem with my purchase. But I love Gearbox. I love a lot of stuff that they do, but Borderlands is definitely special in my heart. Rumors have been they're working on number 4. They were underneath Embracer Group, as most people know. They were one of those purchases. I think Embracer paid like $1 billion for them, right, Mav? Something like that.
Yeah, like 1.3 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. 1.2, 1.3 billion. But obviously, we know that Embracer Group is collapsing. Now we've had a company like a development team like Saber get their independence. We had heard at the same time that Gearbox was being allowed to shop themselves around. If you go back and listen to our episodes where we talked about this, you will hear our speculation on this. And I predicted it was for sure going to be 2K. I thought they were the lead horse. They worked with them previously on publishing Borderlands. That partnership was already there. 2K is doing very well for themselves. They don't make a whole lot of acquisitions, but when they do, it makes sense. Gearbox, I thought, was a great spot for them. They can continue to do what they do. Randy can continue to be who he is underneath 2K. And so I just thought this made complete 1,000% sense. Like, this is the perfect match. I don't think they're going to find it anything else. But they were sold for $460 million. It's always hard to say that $460 million is not a lot of money, but all things considered, if it's, over half of what Embracer paid, I thought for sure that they were going to be approaching $1 billion for Gearbox. I think this is a fantastic deal for 2K. I think they paid a great price at $460 million for this. Great dev team and publisher. They've got publishing experience. Obviously, they got a publishing branch as well. They've got Borderlands. 2K confirmed that Borderlands 4 is in the works when they had made this announcement. Awesome. I love Gearbox. I'm glad they still exist. Can't wait for more Borderlands. I'm happy. Again, 2K is a great landing spot. Love this announcement, Mav. You got any thoughts on 2K purchasing Gearbox?
Perfect fit. We talked
Yep.
about it before. This makes a
Yep.
lot of sense.
Yep.
And I think pretty much what 2K is doing is they're buying Borderlands, the future of the
Yeah.
Borderlands franchise with this, and they're ensuring that, right, more than
Mhm.
anything. So that's really what it's all about. I think, like for them, it's like, okay, this franchise is is a moneymaker for us. It's successful. These guys have proven to be able to produce three successful games in this franchise, including add-on content and spin-offs. There's a movie in the works, all that kind of stuff. And 2K is all about big franchises, and especially ones that they've already put so much investment into. So
Right.
this just makes a lot of sense for them to kind of protect, in a way, that investment that they've made and keep it going forward. Like you said before, they already confirmed Borderlands 4 is in the works. So that's pretty important for them to make sure that Gearbox doesn't fall under or whatever. But we know they kind of went independent already, or they were being shopped around, so we knew that
Mhm.
something was going to happen. But like, it
Yep.
would be hard to think of somebody else like being a better fit. You know,
Mm.
you can throw Microsoft out there, you can throw this or that, or whatever other companies, and I think none of them actually kind of make as much sense as 2K, right?
No.
And they've been talking before where they've been in the acquisition phase, and they haven't really done a whole lot in that regard before. Now, obviously, the industry's changed this past year and a half since those comments were made. But now 2K is stronger, and the publishing arm too. They've published some good games outside of their own franchises before as well. So I expect that to kind of continue, because 2K already has like different publishing branches there. They have like private division, and some other ones, but like this will just kind of add to that as well. So makes a lot of sense for them for multiple reasons, and I think probably be a Borderlands 4 official announcement sooner than later.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now that 2K is
Yeah.
basically put it out. I mean, Gearbox and Randy had hinted at it for a while,
Right.
but
I mean, with the
it's out there.
movie, I mean, everything, it just kind of like, what if they like announce it like in the previews for the movie or some shit like that?
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty dope. Yeah.
Or like at the end credit scene, everybody loves end credit scenes in
Mhm.
movies. Like have an
Sure.
end credit scene
Why
and have
not?
like Borderlands 4.
Teaser.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Let's go.
That'd be
Just have Tiny
unique.
Tina knocking on the fucking screen.
Yeah.
Listen up. Oh god.
That'd be the first time that would have happened. Like a
Yep.
video game end credit scene for a movie.
That'd be cool as hell. Why
Yeah.
not?
Do it.
If anybody goes sees a movie.
I guarantee you. Well, I think it'll do okay. Like, I don't know. Video game
People
movies
are right.
kinda
It's
hot
like
right now. Like,
but it's the geriatric version of
yeah, I
Borderlands,
know.
for
It's
God's
like,
sakes, bro.
it's like
The more I look at the cast, I'm like, what were we
like,
doing?
if this was like 20 years ago, it'd be like, wow, they nailed
Yeah.
that cast, bro.
Yes.
Like perfect. But it is strange. The good
Tiny.
good actors though.
Yeah, but Tiny Tina doesn't look right as a character either. So I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. Maybe it'll turn out to be good. Maybe I'll be completely wrong.
Like Kate Blanchett is an amazing actress.
I love Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
I love her. I had a crush on her for a long time. Probably still do if whatever. But again, Kate Blanchett's freaking amazing. But now,
You think that's like Randy Pitchford's favorite actors from like a decade ago?
probably.
Yeah.
Randy totally casted this fucking movie. You know he was doing lines on his fucking desk and just was like, yeah.
Can we get Kate Blanchett? Oh,
what's she doing these days?
she's so fucking hot. She'd be great. That's exactly what Randy would say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
short Roland. We need a short Roland.
Yeah. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Can you get that funny?
Let's get a midget Roland.
Oh,
it'll be
so
funny.
Hot right now. Kevin Hart's the top of the world.
Yes, Randy, I guarantee has had. Anyway, Randy's good, man.
Yeah.
Randy's a party. Lotus Esprit hit us with the easy 10 bomb. Lotus Esprit, thank you for rolling on through here tonight and joining the show. Says it is okay if it's in the $399 range. Talk about the digital Series X. Yeah. I would imagine it's probably going to be there. Somewhere in that neighborhood, $399.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe.
Makes a lot of sense.
Unless it's
Maybe.
if it's more storage, like no.
More storage could wipe that. But
storage is so fucking expensive, man.
Yeah.
Like if it's 2 terabytes, I mean they sell like terabyte drives for $100.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 terabytes. Because when they did the new Series S, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just more storage, but it's like $350, I think. So I don't know. And it's only like 50.
Has it confirmed that they were going to do more storage or no? Or was that just part of the original leaks?
I think it was in the rumors.
The cylinder
stuff.
leaks,
Yeah.
the rumor
If
stuff.
It's all digital, you would think they would do that. Though.
You would think so.
Even though it doesn't matter because you have to install every physical disc anyway.
Right.
But just the thought process of it. Like the Series S though is like all digital and it had like 500 gigabytes. Or
500 gigs. Right. I don't know, but we'll see. But I think that they're probably shooting for a $399 price point. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't see them doing $450.
Really? I mean, there's already not enough storage in these consoles though. Like,
right.
Like we're fighting it like in our one in our bedroom. Like I was gonna install something there yesterday. Like, oh, can't. I was gonna install 2K, NBA 2K because it's in Game Pass.
Oh yeah.
And it's 120 gigabytes, and it's like, okay, do I uninstall Call of Duty? Do I install Halo? Like Kate plays all these games, and that's where she usually plays is in the bedroom.
Right.
So it's like, I can't. I just literally can't. So my only option is to go and get a storage drive like that.
Right.
Because I'm not going to uninstall any of those.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't use the HD drive because it's next gen. You know what I mean? So
well, you can. Got to move things around.
Move things around. Yeah, fuck that. I don't want to do that. Like
I know you don't. I know. I get it. Convenience yet again. So wins.
Oh, H&S say the Rangers won. Oh.
Way to go, Rangers. Opening day. Let's go. MLB.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, Mav, another one of our favorite studios just bought their independence. They were hit with layoffs earlier this year, but they bought their way out from underneath Sega, surprisingly, and that's Relic.
Yes.
Relic is now an indie studio.
There's some other bad news that came out from this as well.
There was?
Yeah, because there's like 240 layoffs, and Creative Assembly was heavily affected.
Oh, Creative Assembly had 25 layoffs as well today. But the Relic stuff, they bought their independence. They continue, they said they're going to continue to support Company Heroes 3. Company Heroes 3 did not do as well as Sega had hoped. That's what kind of caused the initial round of layoffs when they were still underneath Sega. Now, Mav and I have played Company Heroes 3 for a bit on Xbox, and we love it. Really? It's awesome. Love to get back to it again. Just so happens to be during the golden age where we got a billion games to play, and it's just like whatever. But it's a really great game. But Relic has also worked with Microsoft directly. For you guys who don't know, they helped out with the development of Age of Empires 4. They've done Warhammer 40K, Dawn of War. Like their history is crazy. They did Homeworld 2, which is now taken over by Blackbird. Homeworld 3, which I've already pre-ordered. It was already supposed to be out. It got delayed until May. So they are known for Mav and I genre RTS. Right? Mav and I's genre, the RTS, they've done a ton here. Company Heroes is really good. But independent again, good for them. Again, love seeing studios buy their independence versus getting shut down. Right? That I'd much rather have these studios go take the risk of becoming independent, surviving another day, than having a corporation like Sega have to close them down because financially it just doesn't make sense. So shout out to Relic. I hope bigger things ahead for Relic. I hope they can find their way back. I hope Microsoft continues to give them contracts to help them with Age of Empires and all that kind of stuff. And maybe they can make something original again. Maybe they can do something, another licensed RTS game again, because they are good at what they do. I don't care what anybody says. I love Relic, and I want them to continue to exist. So that's good news.
Yeah.
And then, let me read this real quick. Relic did say we have an important announcement for our players and fans with an external investor. Relic Entertainment will become independently run development studio. This is a huge change for us, but one thing does not change. We want to create amazing experiences for our players, to our fans. We want to assure you that we'll continue to support our titles, including Company Heroes 3. We are looking forward to 1.6 update in April, loaded with new content and features requested by our community. We want to thank Sega, whose support over the years and guidance during the transition have been instrumental to our success. We may be out of the Sega business, but we remain friends and colleagues. We are excited about this next chapter for Relic. We hope you will all join us in creating our new experiences for all our fans worldwide. Yes, please do, Relic. I will be here for you guys anytime you do. Like Mav said, we did get bad news that Certain Affinity, excuse me, almost said Creative Assembly. Certain Affinity did lay off 25 of its staff. This is the first mass layoff in 17-year history. So we know there's been a lot of bad business done by a lot of devs teams that have caused a lot of the layoffs. Certain Affinity has been one of those teams through their 17-year history that seems to be or have been run properly. So, but they did have to lay off 25 of their staff. And obviously restructure, cost saving, whatever you want to call it these days. They just talk again about the industry as a whole, about, what's happened across the industry, and that it finally caught up with them and they had to do this. So again, it doesn't sound like they're certainly not one of those teams that do this on a regular basis. So this must have been really hard for them. Yeah, hopefully development wise, their partnership with Xbox remains strong. They've got a new IP coming out. They've supposedly been working on a Halo project for quite a while. Whether or not it's still a battle royale, that has been up for debate. Some people think it's changed. It's no longer a battle royale. Can't wait to see what Certain Affinity does. Again, they've worked on Call of Duty a lot through their history. They are an awesome support studio. I want to see what their new IP turns out to be. Heard some good things out of the people who got to see it behind the scenes. I can't remember where it was at anymore. But there was a showing where they did show it off behind the scenes. And a lot of people had positive things to say. Love Certain Affinity. Again, this has been the studio that Mav and I and a lot of the Fun Spec family have hammered the table that if they're going to do acquisitions, Certain Affinity is one of those teams that they should be buying. So 100%.
We got a super chat from Spartan661 for $5. Appreciate you, Spartan. Says we need more Pong and Mav. Thank you guys for giving us great content. I have to watch it on the replay. Good night, everyone. Hey,
good night, Spartan661. Appreciate you, brother. Kind words.
So much, dude. And everybody here, comments like that are absolutely amazing. But just super appreciate everybody for checking us out and being a part of what we do. You guys rock.
You guys do rock, all of you. Again, whether you're listening now or in the future, all the same love and respect to all of you. Again, it means the world that you're here. Just listen to us bullshit about this stuff. Again, we're just having a good time with y'all. This is what we would do anyways, just in a party chat. So appreciate you being here and appreciate the kind words for sure. Glad you guys are enjoying it. Predator Hunting Grounds, Mav, is coming in late 2024 to Xbox Series consoles and PS5. Predator Hunting Grounds. Steel jumped into this for a little bit on PC and he liked some of it. So, again, we'll see what happens with Predator Hunting Ground. Again, some people kind of liked it. Some people didn't like it. I love anything Predator. I'll probably jump into it just to check it out. Well, depends on the price and all that good stuff, but it's finally coming to console. So can't wait to see it. It was on PS4. I should say they're getting the PS5 update. Obviously it was on PS4. I liked what I played. I played it like launch on PS4.
Yeah.
And I had a good time with it. It had many, many issues, but being the Predator was pretty damn cool. It was OP back then. So OP that a lot of people quit playing because if you were the Predator, basically you'd win. Everybody would quit out the minute they weren't the Predator. There was a lot of that going on. But it had its moments. It was rough. I can't wait to see what they've done with it. And hopefully it's gotten better, man. I'm always down for these types of games.
Yeah.
It sounds fun. So, Mav, I wanted to get your quick thoughts before we get everybody out of here. The other big game announcement this week. And again, you're going to have more thoughts on it than me. But Marvel Rivals, a new Overwatch clone, right? is coming out from NetEase, and they put out a trailer with a bunch of the characters they're going to be including. It's going to start out with 12 characters. It's going to be free to play. They're going to have a beta in May. It's coming to Steam and the Epic Store to start out. They said that consoles will come later. They got Black Panther, Spider-Man, Magneto, Magic, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Storm from X-Men, which is always good for me. Again, only one character from X-Men is crazy. They got the Incredible Hulk. Mav, again, it's an obvious Overwatch clone.
Yeah.
Many people commented that they thought it was, I think you put in the DMs, you thought it was just an Overwatch skin. I saw other people say that too.
I said it looked like an Overwatch mod. Yeah.
Mod. Yeah. Bro, free to play Marvel characters. Again, I don't have much interest in it. I do like Overwatch from time to time. I have played some Overwatch in my career, my gaming career. But what'd you think of the look and the feel? And what'd you think from what we saw here, man?
Yeah, it looks like something interesting. I'm gonna give it a go. When it comes out, I'll try it. It looks fun. I agree with the chat. Prince Green says that it looks fire. Best character designs I've seen from Marvel characters. It's some really good character designs there. I do agree with that. It looked like the abilities were really cool too. So there's a lot to like there. It looks like Overwatch, like gameplay and art style wise. Usually, like you don't have it like one or the other. You know, like gameplay wise, but like it looks like art style and gameplay looks just like Overwatch. That being said, cool. It doesn't necessarily bother me. It's just interesting. And I'll play it and see how it plays, dude. I think it's interesting. When we were talking earlier though, and this is like completely a side tangent.
Sure.
But when we're talking about Dragon's Dogma, I was thinking how amazing in my head, and I didn't bring it up then. In my head, I was thinking how amazing it would be to have like a Marvel themed game like Dragon's Dogma, kind of like Ultimate Alliance in a way, but like open world like that, where your pawns are Marvel characters. You can pick
that'd be kind of dope.
Right. Yeah. So like that emergent style, big grand ass RPG with like the same quality and scope and everything like Dragon's Dogma 2. But like it's because all the characters already have abilities and stuff. You already can level up and do all these kind of things. If you're like pawns were Marvel characters, you can recruit them or pass them off and all that kind of stuff. And that would be
Star Wars?
Sick. Star Wars too, man. Like I'm trying to think of like cool shit that like Dragon's Dogma, but like with universes that I love. You know?
Hey, I could take a lot of IP and turn it into big open world RPGs, bro. Halo. I've said forever. Halo would be damn dope. I'd play a Halo RPG.
Yeah, I think like Star Wars works too because you could have like everybody's own Jedis. You know what I mean? Or like you could have the Mandal. So those could be the classes. You could have like Jedi. You could have like Mandalorians. You know, you can have like
absolutely
fucking.
You could have it all. You could have droids.
Yeah,
you could have droids. You could have it all. Yeah, it would be dope.
Yeah,
as fuck.
and at Marvel you have so much to choose from because like all the different kinds of characters in there too. There's such a huge amount of characters to choose from.
Oh, I'm all down for open world RPGs from
now combine that.
Why people don't do it. Yeah.
But like, okay, so let's say you do it DC instead of Marvel, and like you give it to WB Montreal, and they make a Dragon's Dogma type game, and then add the Nemesis system to it as well.
Yes.
So like your characters that you fight end up coming back to hunt you down and stuff.
Speaking of, we need to see Wonder Woman. By the way,
yes, we do.
Please show us Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Man, but like, hey, these companies are getting away from licensed IPs now. So
I know, man. We're gonna go back to dark ages in some ways, I guess. But you know what? For an Overwatch clone, I'm cool with this. It's free to play. It's obviously gonna monetize the hell. I don't give a shit about that. Again, I never have a problem with that. It gives me the opportunity to try out a game. And if I enjoy it and want to invest in it, I will. I am kind of sad they only have Storm from X-Men. I don't know what the deal is with not putting more X-Men in game. I hate that the Avengers took over as the cool kids club. I hate it. X-Men are so much freaking better. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I think the game looks great. I will certainly download this and try it. I said that in the DMs. This is definitely worthy of a try. would love to play as Magic. Ever since ever since we got I can't think. I'm dying because it's been such a long day. God damn it, help me, math. Turn-based cards game, Marvel
Midnight
game.
Suns, man.
Midnight Suns, thank you. Ever since playing Midnight Suns and playing with Magic, and then watching the new Mutants movie, which I actually did enjoy.
We watched that
Magic
2 nights ago.
Did you? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I think it's better than a lot of people gave it credit for, but that's as a non-superhero guy. I thought it was a really cool movie, but I love Magic as a character, so I can't wait to play her. I will definitely be interested in playing as Storm, and trying out some of the other characters here too. I think it looks cool as hell. Again, for an Overwatch clone, if you're going to do this, bringing in the Marvel's IP and doing it with a style like you were pointing out, Mav, and like people in the chat were pointing out, go for it. I'm all for it. Go for it, NetEase. Hey, if you're going to do this, do it this way. And it looks great. Again, even if you're just going to say you copied a lot of Overwatch, the character style looks freaking and fantastic. So I will be jumping into this. I was kind of cool to see this.
Yeah, I like when these companies use licensed stuff like this and make good quality games and different styles and stuff. Even if you're copying other games, like I have such love for these universes and stuff that I just want to experience them in different ways.
Why not? Why not? Mav, can you take over for just a minute?
Yeah.
Run upstairs. I gotta see what's.
Yeah. I would get to the chat here, just kind of roll with the chat. What's up, everybody? Treybone408 says, now that X-Men are back with Marvel, they'll do more X-Men stuff. They didn't want to do stuff when Fox had them, so they canceled the comics, but now they're back, so they'll be coming. Yeah, I'm excited for the new Deadpool movie. Like, when me and Kate have been talking about that, and we're going to watch Deadpool 2 tonight. We watched Deadpool last night. And I think that's going to be pretty fucking crazy because it's going to bridge the gap a little bit between with the MCU and the Fox universe, and that's going to be one of the more, maybe either it's going to just not matter at all, or going to be one of the most important Marvel movies in a very long time. And it's absolutely crazy. But like we're gonna have to, we know it's like going to be very like rated R. We're going to see how far they go because I forgot how far they fucking went in Deadpool. The first Deadpool movie, man, I mean, there's like crazy shit in there. I cannot wait for a movie just focused around Deadpool and Wolverine. But yeah, I want to see like more Marvel games in general. The thing that sucks, and I don't know, Chad, if you agree with this, but it sucks when I see original great creations like that, like not be successful because it means we get less creativity within those. Like Midnight Suns, I saw y'all talking earlier. The chat, I think it was Tom Toonami, was talking about Midnight Suns, and like every time that game is on sale for ridiculously cheap, I like people need to play this game because it got written off because of the card system in there. But if you like strategy games, like it is made from Mastercraft strategy to type game developers and tactics games, but like it is story wise and character wise, lore wise, all of these things, the RPG aspects to it, like all of these things are just like top tier if you like Marvel shit. But game didn't sell very well. It was kind of a flop for 2K and Take-Two. I don't know how happy Marvel is with the sales. But, Marvel approached for Access originally to do this because they liked XCOM and they thought that it'd be really interesting to see what Firaxis could come up with. And it's just a shame when a great game like that just doesn't find the audience. And I don't understand why sometimes, because other random games will come out and they'll be crazy successful, built on some of the same ideas and stuff, and this is like behind the Marvel IP, and I think it just takes like certain kind of negative hype or energy to kind of kill the chance the game has. But I want to see stuff like that. I want to see like original ideas in different genres from some of these like licensed IP that we love, and like I kind of got sad a little bit when some of these publishers and companies like EA, namely, talked about doing less licensed type games. I am all happy for original creations, of course, but I don't really. I don't want to go back to the old school days of when the crappier developers and companies were the only ones doing the license stuff. You know, like we get a lot of that still today. Like a lot of the Nickelodeon type games and stuff like that. I remember there was like that GI Joe game that came out not too long ago. Um, like even the Platinum, who's done some of the kind of better ones, like the Ninja Turtles game that they made. Um, there was a Transformers game that came out last year. There's like a tactics game, or maybe it was the year before. It's just kind of like I don't want to see that with our some of our favorite fucking franchises and IPs ever. Like when these things get movies, a lot of times, like it's like they go balls to the wall, all out, trying to do this stuff. But when it comes to games, sometimes we get these fucking janky ass companies that are like low budget, rushed type games that come out. And when the big publishers get into it, you see cool stuff like was it Skydance Media or Amy Hennig's company's doing with that Marvel 1943 game. You know, that like that looks sick. You know, I want to see that stuff. I want to see more of that, like with these kind of IPs. So when these companies say that they're going to be doing less, it's fuck, man. There's so much potential out there that's just untapped. We get all this stuff in the movies and stuff, but like I I always think about these things with like, oh man, what game would be awesome? You know, like oh, we could have a like one of my things like with Rocksteady games was I wanted them to make a Ninja Turtle game, right? Like in that dark, atmospheric, serious tone, like the Arkham games. You know, like put them in the city. It's dark. They're facing the Foot Clan. They got Shredder, but like take it into a serious, more mature route. And that was like a dream type game for me. And we just don't get to see shit like that. You know, it's a shame. Johnny Ravioli says, "Play Unicorn Overlord. The game's incredible." Absolutely. Anybody here who likes tactics games, strategy games, that's one of those kind of games that we're talking about that really plays into it's like a love letter to the genre. So it makes you feel like you're in the early 2000s playing a classic like Final Fantasy Tactics, or in the 90s, I guess is when that came. I don't remember. Late 90s, early 2000s, whatever. It has that kind of feel to it. It is an absolute classic type game to me. It was going to be hard pressed for something to pass up that for my potential game of the year, and Dragon's Dogma 2 did it. Yeah, I see the conversation about the word woke and all that kind of stuff, and like I think there's like that's just a crazy conversation to have. Like I have my own feelings about that stuff, but HNS 1998 says, Mav, we need a new Transformers game to come out with a campaign and online multiplayer. The old Transformers game was fire. Yeah, the best Transformers games was the High Moon, or not High Moon. Is it High Moon Studios from Activision? They did the ones on the 360. Those were fucking amazing, like really good games. I mean, they weren't like the best ever, but for Transformers games, they were fantastic. I want to see that franchise and other franchises I love like treated with respect in gaming. And now we do have a Transformers game coming. I can't remember the name of the company. What is it? Saber? I forget who's doing this. Is it Nexon or Pong? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Which one are you talking
The
about?
new Transformers game. Who's doing that?
Oh, Transformers. What is it called? God dang it.
Rise of the something.
No, you're thinking of Rise of the Beast.
No. Oh yeah, that's what.
It's called Transformers. Dang it.
Yeah, the last Ronin game, I think that got delayed, if I'm not mistaken, for the TMNT game. Yeah, I like licensed games, but I love them when they're like treated with respect.
Reactivate.
Reactivate that.
Yeah, Transformers Reactivate. Splash Damage.
Splash damage.
Mm-hmm. They're the ones doing it.
Okay, we'll have to see. Maybe that one will be great. I don't know.
Maybe
I
we'll see.
who makes the
It
who
looks
made
great.
the Terminator or not Terminator RoboCop game? Yeah, before they made Terminator game.
Oh, the RoboCop game is whatchamacallit.
You're on mute again all of a sudden randomly.
No, I'm not.
You okay? That was weird. Your
Yeah,
lips
that
were
was weird.
moving, but
Okay.
nothing was coming out of your mouth.
Interesting.
Okay.
I was talking to myself.
Whoever that developer is needs to be given a lot of licensed IP.
That one was Teon, published by Nacon.
Yeah, they need to do more licensed stuff. Just keep doing licensed stuff.
Yeah. Again, they're licensed IP should not be difficult to do. It if you lean in.
Yeah, lean into it.
Lean into it. Do not try to be something that the IP is not. Do not try to get cute with the IP. Just make the game the same way that the movies were made that created the fandom in the first place, or the TV series, or whatever the hell it is. Just don't try to change shit all the damn time. And don't try to get, we're going to do something better. What? No. RoboCop did not try, and again, I haven't played it yet, but from everything I've watched on how people playing it and everybody that's talked about it, it basically was the video game version of another movie. It was that of the 80s. Like, they didn't try to make it for 2024. They didn't try to change what it was. They took the old 80s RoboCop movies, cheese and all, and put it into a fucking video game and made it badass. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. What's fun, what's weird is like, the licenses are expensive, people say a lot, right? Yeah. But how come there's so many shitty, crappy publishers and smaller dev companies making shitty licensed games for big IP? Like, there's like Ninja Turtle stuff that comes out randomly, or like a lot of the Nickelodeon type stuff, like in Hasbro things. Like, there's shitty Transformers games that still come out. Like the Tactics game that came out, I was talking about earlier, like 2 years ago when you were away. Like, there's so so much IP out there, but sometimes these like shitty publishers that have, you would think, never have ability to afford that or the ability to make something like that, gets to make the games. And I'm like, when it's one of the bigger publishers or big time devs, I'm like, hell yeah. Now, sometimes they force them to do things that are kind of like not great with those franchises in order for like monetization or mass appeal and stuff. But man, when we get like Guardians of the Galaxy, Eidos Montreal, man, that was so fucking good.
Yep.
They absolutely just completely leaned into what it was all about. Right.
Correct.
And that was great. But Square saw it as a failure because they didn't, first off, they marketed it really poorly, and then it was off the heels of the Avengers failure, and then their Japanese games do even worse, and they don't, I don't know, like, it's drives me crazy sometimes, man. Like, if I was a developer,
I agree with
I would be like, wow, it would be one of my dreams to make a game in one of those worlds,
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, we got as talking about random shit when you're gone. So
no, that's fine. I'm sorry. I had to. I'm sorry. I had to
problem.
go. Bad timing. The wife fell asleep, and the dogs were going ape shit because they had to go outside. So.
Oh yeah.
So, and one of them's really old. She's getting really old, so she has a hard time holding it. So she was going ape shit. I had to get him outside. So just bad timing. But
Yeah,
great.
The King Kong game that was ass.
Yeah,
the Gollum.
But it was good. You're talking about the new King Kong. I was gonna say King Kong on 360.
No, the Peter Jackson. That was great. Yeah.
Oh, bro, that was great. People trashed it back then, but again, you go back and play it. It just was what King Kong was
Avatar
in the movies.
Really
it was
cool.
great.
The new Avatar game's pretty good. But like, you see, I just don't understand when we see these fucking like random shitty games based on some of these IP and stuff, and it's like, well, the IPs are so expensive, the licenses are so expensive. Well, how can we get so much crap?
I don't
know
what
kind
of.
I'd love to know the license less if you plan on making a shitty game. How does it work? Our plans are to make something that really rushed, and it's going to not really appeal to anybody, and it's going to run like shit, and it's going to look like shit, and nobody's ever gonna give a damn about this. So how about you don't charge us that much for the license? Like I don't.
Right.
How does that work? I don't fucking get it. I don't know. Or maybe it's the company themselves that owns the developer, and they just kind of just put the shit
That's
out
what
without having to pay
I
the license. Yeah, I don't know.
it's possible. I would love to see the contracts on the IP shit. I wonder if different contracts are made to different companies depending on how big they are or not. Like
Yeah.
if Microsoft or PlayStation go and want to license IP, Disney's like, yeah. And we saw what that contract looked
Yeah.
like for Spider-Man, right? We're going to take you for everything. But if some smaller developer comes along and just says, hey, we just want to make this small little game, but we think it's pretty cool, and they pitch the idea, and Disney or whoever's like, oh, yeah, it's a pretty cool idea. Yeah, we'll cut you this deal and just give them like a break. Like you do wonder how that works.
Yeah.
Like, because some of it doesn't make
it's
sense.
weird that like Insomniac the leaks of how expensive and crazy that license is for Spider-Man for them to do that, but then like we have like other random stupid shit that comes out from other companies. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either, man. It doesn't make sense. It's some of the inside baseball that I would love to know about, like why some of these companies claim they're so expensive, but then other companies do it, and why don't some of these bigger companies take on smaller IP, maybe not the big stuff all the damn time. Like again, like a RoboCop. Like again, why don't we have a modern day Punisher game?
Yeah.
Why,
man? You know,
like
my dream job, bro.
Right.
Is to like be like work for Marvel, but like say like, hey, I'm gonna get this developer to make this and like just make it happen. You know,
just you
like,
bet
just
you
come
pitch
up with dream games
your
and
IP.
match the developers. Yeah. Like I would go to Sucker Punch and make them make a Gambit game. Like, hey, you know, you can have this IP for like next to nothing, but like we think you'd be a great fit. Make a Gambit game, Sucker Punch. Let's go.
I would be freaking. I would love to do that. I would love to be an advisor. I'd love to go find.
Uh-oh. That's a great pause angle there for Pong. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're back. Yeah, you're back.
Am I back? Oh,
yeah,
weird.
you just
okay.
Like this for a second.
I said I would love to be. I'd love to go like. I would love to be like at Microsoft and go find new games at small developers and stuff like in the East and shit, and point out games that I know are going to be good, right? Like, like again, like how they miss on some of this stuff, I have no idea. But common sense in this industry, out the window constantly. Am I freezing again?
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's like weird. It's kind of like in and out.
Weird. I'm not having any issues on my internet. My internet's
maybe it's me.
I don't know. But anyways, I would love to do that. But like, why don't we have a new Star Wars MMO? Like that doesn't. It makes zero sense, man. It literally these companies are looking for money makers. How in 2024, where MMOs are a big thing, how do you not have a Star Wars MMO? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, I was there. I was in the Matrix. You're right. I'm not real. I'm just AI. Mav created me.
It's a glitch in the Matrix.
I glitch out.
Yeah. Thanks, Agent Pong.
Anyways, let's wrap this up. I gotta go to bed. I got another early morning. It's been a long ass day. My brain is not working along with me glitching on screen. So, you guys, this has been an amazing show. Again, love coming here Thursday nights, even on the slower news weeks. You guys show up, show out, over 100 people constantly, just being here, chilling out with me and Mav tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the conversations. Again, we're just bullshitting, catching up with each other and talking about the small things that are happening and Speculation Town. And obviously we had a nice big talk on Dragon's Dogma 2 and why we both think it's, early game of the year, and maybe runaway game of the year. But when it's all said and done, we'll see. I think there's some really big competition coming up for it. But again, for me personally, I don't see anything beating it this year. Star Wars Outlaws has a good shot potentially, from what I'm seeing of it. Maybe getting into that conversation, but I still ultimately think Dragon's Dogma 2 will be my game of the year throughout the entire year. But who knows? Avowed could blow me away because I freaking love Obsidian. So don't know. That could be the one. But we'll see. All I know is that have these types of games this early in the year is special. To have 2 years back to back with the amount of great gaming that we've had from last year to only 3 months in this year, amazing. I can't wait to see what else comes of all this. Plus, we're gonna have new hardware announcements. It's a fun time, man. So, everybody, thank you for joining us on another episode of the PM and the PM. Let's get everybody out of here. Mav, we got Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night. We're gonna get the family together. What else is going on with you, brother?
Oh, I mean, that's it, man. The Xbox Ultimate tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern. Back Mondays for FSP at 10 p.m. Eastern time, and then Thursdays, PM and the PM, 7 p.m. Eastern. And Fun Pop will have a return at some point here. Shout out to Jasper. We miss you, man. Hopefully everything's good there and where you're at right now. But yeah, dude, playing games. I'm going to try and get some more Dragon's Dogma in this weekend. Really want to get some more hours into that game. But what about you and making the Golden Age tour?
Yeah, man, I miss playing with you guys, but man, it's a single player gaming life right now, bro.
Sometimes like, why didn't you guys ever play and like all the way like I tell her like there's a lot of the games have been coming out lately. There's just single player games, so we're just playing these things.
Once we get through this, we are going to run you back through Suicide Squad. I do want to hop back into Suicide Squad anyway. Now that the Joker DLC, the first season, has dropped. I mean, we got to make that run again because, again, that game is absolutely fantastic. I don't care what anybody says. It's great fun. So I do want to hop into that. Steel's all in on that, too, for doing that run, too. So we will do that eventually here. But Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah. It's too good to not spend a large amount of time in.
It is. It's way too good. So, but yeah, tomorrow night, Xbox Ultimate for sure. I will be there with the rest of the family. So join us 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Don't know how many people will be there, but we are going to have a great time. Lots of laughs, lots of good talks. We'll see if Psycho shows up with some randomness as he's wont to do. Who knows? Hopefully Bob's there. Give us some laughter. Like, we just have such a great time getting together.
Tomorrow we'll have a Psycho show and we'll like talk about just news old from 2020.
Tweets. From 2020, we'll go back to old tweets because he likes reposting old news.
Old tweets, yeah.
I just look at the dates. I don't care about the dates. Anyways, yeah. So we'll have a good time tomorrow on Xbox Ultimate right here on the Fun Speculation Network. Set your alarms now for Saturday morning because you know what's coming. It's living split screen. Steel has been trying to put out more content over there. The man is doing an incredible job. Obviously, again, so thankful to have him as a partner on Living Split Screen. But you got to join us Saturday morning, 4+ hours. Buckle up, get ready. It doesn't matter how light the news week is. Steele and I bullshit for freaking ever. We just have great conversation. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. I'm sure we might even have some community stuff this week. It's going to be fun. Saturday mornings are always a good time. We'll take you from the morning to the afternoon, live, raw, and uncut with all the energy you need to get your weekend started or to keep it going, depending on where you are in the world. So be there 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, Living Split Screen every Saturday morning. Split Screen is all one word. Gave away 3 copies of Dragon's Dogma 2 last week. We don't do a whole lot of giveaways, but we did 3 copies last weekend. It was absolutely incredible. We always have a good time there. And then Saturday night's Shop Podcast, PTK Blam's channel. Gotta be there. Gotta be there for Blam. Saturday night, amazing time. Chill way to end your Saturday night. Have us on in the background while you're playing video games. Listen, it's PTK, it's Fuzzy, it's myself. We always have guests. I don't think he's announced guests this week, but we're going to have a fun time Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern now, 8 o'clock Central Time due to the time change a few weeks ago. We are now 9 p.m. and 8 p.m. So be there for the Shop Podcast on Saturday night. Next week, it starts all over again. Double Barrel Gaming is the channel. Boomstick is the man. All Good Things Green every Tuesday on Xbox Factor Podcast, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time, with the one and only Steel Rain now on panel. So join that crew there every Tuesday. And of course, God willing, back here Thursday night for another episode of PM and the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM. Listen, y'all, it's the golden age of gaming. You guys know the drill. Get out there, play what you love what you play. I hope you're enjoying something because there is something for everybody and has been for about 2 years now, but this year and last year especially, please get out there and enjoy something. And I'll talk to you all real soon. Mav, get us out of here, brother.
Have a good one, everybody. Peace out. Good night.
Bye.